This is WZOB Fort Payne, 100.9 FM and 1250 AM.
Hey guys, it's Thursday. It's 11 o'clock. We're in WZOB Studios, and you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. Bryan Northcutt, Steve Chambers, live in studio at WZOB headquarters, 100.9 FM, 1250 AM. If you're out and about riding through town, we'd love for you to listen to the show. I know that there's we talked to a lot of city employees yesterday who said that they listen to the show when they're in their trucks. Hey guys, Tim, Paul, everybody else that's listening, thank you guys for listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. Butch, saw you too. And we're excited to have another show. Today's show, we've got our main guest is going to be Beau Genelin, who is a candidate for the city council. And we're also going to have a little bit of Greg Fowler. But can you have a little bit of Greg Fowler? That's the question. So let me bring in my co-host, Steve Chambers. Steve, welcome to the show again.
Well, thank you very much. I just found a cool spot and landed.
I know it is. So God said, all right, I'll cut the rain off, but I'm going to crank the heat and the humidity up.
Yeah, it's teaching us not to complain.
Somewhere
Quit complaining.
Yep, and that's Miss Holly Allen, who is our producer, our head producer. Tim Dobson's here. Cindy Bynum's what does she do over there?
She helps me.
I know she's making sure that we're live on the radio. So
Right,
hey, Cindy.
yeah. That she levels on the radio and
Yeah.
Facebook. She makes sure the sound is real good.
Master control. That's right.
There you go.
Multitasker.
Master
That's it.
controller.
But she's not Tim Dobson.
No, she's not Tim Dobson. We are so thankful for you guys listening to the show. Excited about episode 17. Got Beau Genelin in studio. Let me get finished with this other stuff. So we also have, if you go to WZOBradio.com and click the Listen Live button, you'll hear us live on the radio, WZOB Radio. We also play the show on and live stream the show on Facebook. So if you're at your computer and can pull up a Facebook page, you can listen to us and watch us live. And Miss Holly also archives the show on our YouTube channel. We've also had a young gentleman, Eric. What's his name? Eric Sidney? Holly?
Oh, yeah, Eric Hernandez.
Eric Hernandez, who has
Yeah.
been he is greatly added to the show.
Yes, he is our social media marketing director. I
There
saw
we
on his
go.
Facebook page. He's
Ooh.
like, what would my title be? This is an 18-year-old kid.
There you go.
And I said, I don't know. I mean, I don't care about titles. But anyway, but on his Facebook page, I said, that's a great title.
Yes,
Yeah,
I like that one. So-
Yeah, social marketing
And he has
media
greatly
director.
increased our viewing.
Man, he's done
with
a
some of
great
the
job.
reels, doing little clips.
I'm having him teach me.
I noticed that a lot of people, I've got friends, and I would be like this myself. I got to be honest with you. If I didn't do the show, I would struggle to sit down and want to watch the entire episode, except for the fact that we're funny, I think, and we're enjoying each other's company, and we are engaging in people. So that's fun. But I would struggle. So having reels, like little 1.5 minute segments of the show,
That's for her
Well-
ADHD audience.
And I kind of feel like if you watch the reel and you enjoy the reel, maybe you'll come in
Exactly.
and get the real show.
Ooh, REAL.
That's right.
Not REE.
So
Yeah.
clever.
Yes, she is, isn't she?
That's why she has that corner office. Well, she never lets me in there.
I have a lock on the door.
So anyway, we're excited for episode 17. So thankful for you guys listening and watching. We're getting good feedback. We had our inaugural remote. What do you call that? Our coming? No, I don't want to say coming out party. That's not. Although it is June.
Good afternoon.
Just Steve says I'm out.
Whoa.
So
was a
enjoyed
lot of
getting.
fun.
Yeah, Ira Parker came up and made his presence known.
Yes.
As one of our biggest
He
fans.
was a former admiral, he said.
Yeah, we got a,
And probably astronaut, too, but that's okay.
yeah, we did have a couple of swap shop listeners come
It was
out
so
and
funny. Yeah, it was
love
great
that.
meeting you guys and seeing the candidates and being down there for third Saturday this last weekend. Got to know folks. Got lots of reels. We got a lot of views on those little segments. That worked really well. With
Yeah.
although the little puffy microphones didn't work, you
You
could
know,
still hear, but
yes.
it was a
Yeah,
challenge.
It wasn't what I wanted in the end, but we are going to improve.
Yep.
As time goes by, I said, okay, well,
Dennis Celia Davenport, do you know her? Goes to our church.
Yes,
she
yes.
goes to our church.
Yes, yeah.
Do you know her? She found us on the first time she had ever seen us was doing the remote from Third Saturday
yeah.
Cruise In. She said, "What? Are y'all on TV?" It's not good.
Almighty knows y'all famous. So yeah,
She was pleasantly surprised, I think she said. We don't set the bar high, so if we're successful, it's pleasantly surprised.
I think you could say we're informative, we're entertaining, and it's not as bad as you thought it was going to be.
and
I
just
think-
somewhat clueless.
But that's endearing, right? So
We're hoping.
maybe so. It is garnering us an audience, and we are excited about it. We've enjoyed. I mean, if nothing else, it's been fun to hang out in here for a couple hours and get to talk to people. And we're doing what I thought we wanted to do, what I wanted to do when we conceptualized the show, and that is asking people questions. And it's gonna start getting pretty heated here soon, or it already has, and we're gonna be in the middle of the heat.
It's going to start getting humid, too. Or what?
well
I can handle the heat, not the humidity.
Yeah, I hope everybody just, as far as the candidates are concerned, let's just Be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, put your point out there and
Yep.
and
Say what you need to say.
yeah, let's
And
not make
all
it
are welcome
personal.
to come on. And
Absolutely, absolutely. And we've
Say
had
their
interest
piece.
from all candidates,
Yeah.
and I think we're going to make our way through that list as best we can. I mean, we are only a single platform, so
Yeah.
we'll do the best that we can to get everybody on. But excited to I'm excited about the opportunity to engage on a bigger scale with what we're doing. It's not just segmented for our audience, but also those around who are interested in knowing, because I need to see a clear vision. And I've told some folks, and I'll say this live to everybody who's listening, and I don't know what Steve's comment wants to be or Holly's. We don't go with one voice. It's each individual, but I'm right now at a point where I'm refraining from doing any kind of signs, promotions, or, I mean, candidate wants to buy advertising on the show, they're welcome to do that.
Oh yeah.
But as far as endorsements or making proclamations, I'm holding off on that right now. I may do something similar to that later on, but right now I just want to get to know everybody and understand what your platform is and try to be as neutral as we can, because I think we have a responsibility to ask tough questions to all candidates, not to try to throw softballs up there, but to just have fun and maintain the integrity of what we designed this show to be, and that is informative and having some fun with folks.
So we're not handicapping it or betting lines. Is that
No,
correct?
no betting lines. Although if a betting company wants to sponsor the show and create betting lines, we can have that discussion.
I understand.
But I don't know that there's any betting people that would advertise with us.
Yeah, and on the promo this week, I did say, if you have any questions, that's what I was sitting here checking. You
Yeah.
know, if you have any questions, ask them. So, if you do have any questions that you want
Yeah,
us
on
to
the live
ask,
feed. We can
yeah.
pull the live feed up and ask Beau questions while you're here.
Yeah.
I know he was at Third Saturday. That's why he couldn't make his way down to us, because he had his own tent set up and he had a line of people asking him questions.
Oh, good for
which is
him.
good.
That's smart.
really good.
Yeah.
So anyway, speaking of Third Saturday and kind of the setup that we had there, 1 week from today, we will have Walter Watson in studio for our regular Lunch with Bryan and Steve show. Then a week from tomorrow, which is
The 4th of July.
the 4th of July,
Friday.
we will be on Friday. We will, instead of have lunch with Bryan and Steve, we'll have breakfast with Bryan and Steve, 7 a.m. Are you ready to get up for that?
Speaker Ledbetter, I would like egg with my sausage and biscuits if you don't mind.
I think that they're like cooking it out. I mean, I think, they're.
Oh, wow. So we get to.
like
all right.
outside on the grill is what I understand.
So,
yeah.
Okay, so I can make it.
Maybe.
I'm in.
Okay.
So Nathaniel Ledbetter and Steve Livingston have hosted for several years, evidently, a breakfast at Henniger City Park on July the 4th. And so there'll be several people out there, not just local DeKalb County, Fort Payne candidates, but also some statewide candidates. My understanding, and I don't know if we have confirmation of this, is that gubernatorial candidate Tommy Tuberville will be there. Is he going to be unopposed? I mean, we're still a year from primaries, right? Primaries will be next March-ish.
I don't think he's unopposed. I think there's two others may have announced.
Republicans?
Yes.
Okay,
believe
then
so.
I'm not aware of that. So anyway, Tommy Tuberville, we're going to try to get him and interview him. Now, it won't be a live show. Is that right, Miss Holly?
Well, it'll
Or
be
we're going to live stream segments.
We'll be live on the radio.
Okay.
And that's because we don't have Swap Shop on the 4th of July. Usually WZOB gets the day off.
Okay.
So no Swap Shop. So this actually works perfect for, just our regular programming we want
Okay.
to have. So we're going to be doing the breakfast from 7 to 9. That's going to be live if you want to wake up and just lay in the bed and listen and have
Yeah.
fun with us. But then I thought that I would do little clips and then post them later.
Okay, so it won't be this kind
be-
of setup.
no, it'll be
You'll just
kinda
shoot
like-
some live shots.
Kind of like the
of-
remote.
Yeah, similar to the remote. Okay, but we'll be doing a whole show, a 2-hour show
2
with different
hours.
people. So, all right. Boy, that'll be fun if we could get Tuberville on for a little
Well,
while.
I think it's two
And Katie
Democrats
Britt.
have announced.
Okay.
But I don't know if Senator Tuberville has any opposition in the
Do we,
primary.
are
or
we
not.
expecting a run there from there, or is he going to look at Senate? Nathaniel, is that going to be when he announces something? What do you think? And we can postulate. I mean, we can just give some guesses here.
I just don't know.
Okay.
I thought I knew couple of weeks ago, but
Now, speaking of, I did. We had been talking about the rumor of a third candidate, and I think I found out who that was, but I'm not going to say anything.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
Not on the air, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Well, it's over. No, we don't
it would
have
just
a third
be super
candidate.
if you could.
Don't have a third candidate.
No.
Are you going to? Okay, I'll let you.
Yeah. So anyway, but I think everything's in now. Do we have any surprise? I hadn't heard anything
I
from
haven't
City
seen
Hall.
the final list.
Okay. So our list that we have right now, as it stands now, is the three the incumbents would be Walter Watson, John Smith, and Lynn Brewer on the city council. Then Bryan Bay's the incumbent mayor. And then for the city council candidates, we've got Chad Williamson, Todd Simpson, Beau Genelin, who will be on the show today, Clint Beeson, Scotty Vaughn, Jeff Young, Mike Grant, Richard Camp, Heather Wooten, Pete Little, and Leslie Vaughn. And then Pete Davis is the other mayoral candidate that running against the incumbent Bryan Baines. So I think that's the final list. You guys on Facebook, or if you want to text me or Steve, if y'all know of somebody else, we thought
Those more knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's plenty of that.
we don't really do a whole. I don't. Steve does a whole lot of prep. He's got a lot of stuff printed out. I make a few notes and flip through Facebook and see if there's anything hot topic, and then we'll figure it out.
You make the big bucks.
My job is just to steer the ship. So anyway, that's what we.
Titanic.
That's right.
I didn't catch that. You got to be louder.
Talking to project, Steve. We talked about this last week.
Man,
I've made
it's
it to
like-
66, not talking too loud.
It's like watching British television. You know, you have to watch a show a couple of times to actually get the joke. Because you miss it the first time, it just happens too fast.
That's helping us have more likes then. What did he say?
What did you say? Let me rewind that and see it again. So
That's right.
anyway, we're so thankful for our audience, our listening audience and viewing audience. I've got my son Eli in here today. I have had Lewis come up. I've had Isaac come up.
Looks
and now,
like a dream come true for
yeah,
him.
Eli's just living the dream over here on the side.
Yeah, I got him.
There
Lean
he
in,
goes.
Eli. Let
Wave
the
to
world
everybody
see
out
you.
there. Eli's come in
Okay.
to check out. Is anything going on in your world, bud?
Nope.
No.
Not right now.
What grade are you going to be in?
Fifth. I'm
Fifth?
going to Little Ridge.
Oh.
Going to Little Ridge. Last
Big
year at
school.
Little Ridge and then to the
Middle school.
middle school. All right. Well, good to have you here in studio, buddy. Good job. All right, Eli's over here on the side. So we're going to take our first commercial break. Come back. We'll have our Thrive Outdoor Garden Tip of the Week. You're listening to or watching Lunch with Bryan and Steve. We'll be right back right after this.
Stop treating your home like a storage bin. Make room for living with Wilson Storage. No matter the need or budget, Wilson Storage has the solution for you. They have gated standard units and climate control units. They have security cameras, alarms on every door, and 24-hour access. You can even rent or pay your bill online. Just go to wilsonstorage.com or call 256-845-1530. Wilson Storage is family owned and been serving our community since 1988. Wilson Storage in Fort Payne.
This is Judge Andrew Hairston, and you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve on WZOB.
Hello, this is Mike Shirey with the Fort Payne Improvement Authority. Spring is an exciting time of warmer weather and new growth, but it's also a dangerous time. We all remember the tragic storms of April 2011 and lives lost and the scars that remain. We're reminded of the season and how the storms can impact our lives. We would like to take this opportunity to encourage everyone to stay safe and have a safety plan when the storms come. Always remember to stay away from any downed power lines or anything contacting those lines. Never try to move a power line and do not drive over a downed power line. If your vehicle is in contact with a power line, stay in the vehicle until help arrives. Stay alert and stay safe from your friends at Fort Payne Improvement Authority.
All All right, we're back. Lunch with Bryan and Steve. Bryan Northcutt, Steve Chambers in studio, episode 17. We'll have Beau Genelin on next segment, but this segment is our Thrive Outdoor Garden Tip of the Week. We want to thank everybody at Thrive Outdoors, Lee Buffington, and the whole Thrive staff for their support of Lunch with Bryan and Steve. I'm excited to have them in full sponsorship seat. And we've got live on the phone the WZOB hotline. I like how the radio stations use the hotline. We've got Thrive Outdoor manager, employee. What do you do? Chris is online. So Chris, that was I messed that intro up. But anyway,
he's got a throne down there.
What is his title officially?
Chris, welcome to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. How you been, brother?
I've been good. I think after all this time, Bryan,
Not hearing him.
specialist.
The specialist. Sorry, you broke up. I think you hadn't gotten to the house yet. So stand still and
Turn that microphone on.
Oh,
Private bid specialist.
private bid specialist. Got you. Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna make a note of that. That Chris is the private bid
Sounds like
specialist.
you're making an underhand deal. but not Chris. He would not do that.
Bryan, Steve, I got somebody with me that wants to say hello.
Oh yeah, bring him on. Who we got?
Hey, Bryan and Steve and Eli.
Is that Ben?
That is Ben, the
Oh,
team.
well, we could just let
Hello,
Ben and
Ben.
we could let Ben and Eli. Eli, you want to say hello to Ben?
We can't stand the competition.
That's funny.
It could be the Ben and Eli show.
The Ben and Eli show. That would be a great show. Would you like to do that? Ben, would you like to have a show of your own?
Yeah, he stepped out of the truck.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, good. Yeah,
He could be the Bryan then. You can't keep his attention.
Yeah, he did see Eli on your podcast right before we came on. Said, "Look, you got a buddy on the air, man. You guys should do a Eli and Ben or Ben and Eli show."
Oh, that's right. We could do live from Little Ridge. How about that? We could do a show down there. That'd be fantastic. So private bid specialist. Now we've got. So God decided we're going to shut the irrigation system off, and we're going to crank up the greenhouse. So we have got some heat and humidity. How are things looking out there?
Everything's looking good. Just want to make sure kind of what we said last week. Just touch on it here for a second. Just watch your plants for this humidity and heat. Make sure they don't dry out or need water. And diseases, funguses starting to form in grass and plants. So just keep an eye out for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
And
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you got it. It's your segment, bro.
Coke. Well, the tip of the week, this is probably for Steve, if I know Steve. To give you that professional look in your yard, Steve, I know you're listening really hard.
I am, because I need help.
You want to make sure that, and a lot of people around here don't necessarily have solid turf. We call it Heinz 57 grass, which Steve may have, which is a combination of everything. Not just Bermuda or a straight grass. You could. Steve, do you have a straight grass yard, or you the Heinz 57 type?
There were places that were straight, but now it's all Heinz 57. I do have a little turf around the pool, though, but that's another story.
There you go. But to keep that looking good, Steve, and everybody, for the detailing sake, this is a time for edging. Make sure you get a good clean edge on your sidewalks and driveway. That gives you a good professional, crisp look. And then also in your beds. If you don't have beds, it's a great time to make a bed. You definitely want to surround you don't want your grass growing up in and around your plants. It could choke it out a little bit. Plus, it doesn't look as good. So you want to create an edge there. And Bryan and Steve, how you would do that if you don't have one, if you don't have a bed, it always pays off to do a little hard work in the beginning. So you want to take a shovel out your bed edge or your desired bed edge. Just do about 2 or 3 inches. Pop that up. Just throw it in the bed, because you'll end up mulching it over later. Or if you already done that, put it in your wheelbarrow and haul it off. But you want to shovel out your edge. That way you're cutting those roots of any weeds that want to grow underground into the bed. You go ahead and cut that. And then from then on, you just kind of maintain your bed, like spraying the weeds or pulling the weeds. Now it'll get you started on a nice, crisp edge for beds.
Now, did you say that? I hear you say that once you cut that edge and dig up that 3 inches, even if it's got the grass in that edge that you're cutting, you throw that into the bed to mulch up, so the grass will die out and it won't take root in there.
Yeah, well, so you're just going to have a little bit of extra stuff that you pop up. You're not digging a hole, you're just digging an edge, and
Right.
whatever you're cutting. Like I tend to do that before I mulch, so I would throw that in there and make sure it's kind of break it up just a hair, and then throw a mulch over it, so I don't have to haul. It's just saving me a trip of hauling. Is
Okay.
all it is. But
Okay.
you can always grab a 5-gallon bucket, throw it in a 5-gallon bucket, and go toss it somewhere else.
But that's pretty good topsoil. You'd probably want to keep, wouldn't you?
Yeah, if it is,
Yeah.
I mean, if you get that, you shouldn't be digging that much topsoil. You should be just popping a little
Okay.
edge.
I got
'Cause
you.
you're just cutting a little bit. So
Well, I've got the house we got. They had put, and I've never seen this before, other than playgrounds. They had tire mulch.
Like at the church?
Yeah, no, at the house we just bought.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
is it like the,
Yes, like at our church. Yes. Is that what's the pros and cons? I mean, I know the pros, but
Don't need it.
have you seen a lot of that? Is that popular? Is there downsides to that? To having like a rubber mulch like you'd see at playgrounds that is our flower bed?
There's not a downside to the rubber. You also will see dyed mulch, which is colored mulch, and that's really they take old pallets and chew those up and then dye them to make the mulch.
Really?
Dye them a color.
Huh? I hadn't seen that. That's cool.
The benefit is they don't lose their color, especially the rubber. It doesn't lose its color over time. I mean, it takes a long time to fade, so you got good color for a long time.
Yeah. Okay.
The downside to those things is, guess what? You still get leaves in them. You still get, when you cut your grass, some shavings would go in there. Weeds always find a place to grow. So,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like regular mulch. You're going to get debris and weeds in
Yeah.
those as well.
What's the landscape of, we had all that rain, and Steve will have his rain gauge report here later on in the show, but
and the heat index chart.
index
Something
chart.
new to keep us dazzled.
what is what's the landscape, no pun intended, of the climate here, and coming out of that rain? Are we back to full strength? You guys at Thrive got all the crews out and about. Are we in a good spot? Has everything kind of calmed back down with all that rain we had, and kind of now we're in a groove? What's going on for the landscape of the landscape business?
In the business, when you have we had all that rain before this little bit of dry spell, and it tends to, if you'll notice, your grass and stuff tends to grow about a week or so after those kind of rains. So right
Okay.
now you got tall grass, you got grass you didn't cut last, or the week before because of the rain. So you got a lot of debris that you're cutting now. So trying to mulch that in and make yards look good, that's the tough part this time of year, especially after you get a big rain. Now, when it comes like August and September, and we're dry for a month, you're not really cutting grass much at all, because it stops growing toward the end of the summer. But right now, that summer growth still happens, even though it hadn't rained much.
Yeah, mine quits growing in December, I think. Martha has a raised bed, and she puts lavender and spices. I don't really know what all that is in there, but the raised bed, like you said, that's better. But her tip of the week, if she had one, is she gets brown bags from the grocery store and lines plants with them to keep the grass out. Have you ever seen that?
Huh?
Now you have to say that. You have to say that one more time. She uses the plastic bags.
No,
to
not
do
the
what?
plastic, the brown paper bags. I'll forget and bring the plastic bags. She'll go, I didn't want the plastic bags. So
paper bags, really?
the brown paper bags to line around the plants to keep the grass out.
Huh? That's interesting.
Yeah, anything you're putting down in the soil, because a lot of weeds will grow with stolons, and stolons are the underground roots. So if you're cutting that, if you're keeping that underground root from going, yes, that works as a good barrier.
Okay. Well, cool.
So that's some horticulture tips.
That's what poor people have to do. We use the plastic bags for trash liners and the brown bags for the garden.
There you go.
It's all cyclical. It all comes back around at some point. Well, good. Well, anything else, Chris? You got any reports on any NIL deals you contributing to On to Victory or anything like that, using all your front pocket money to buy some recruits for Auburn?
No, I'm not doing that, but my son, who's in the Auburn University marching band, left today. He's got to go down for Camp Warrior and pep up the new students.
Oh, yeah.
And I heard there was something about the band. They're getting to play at...
Oh, yes. Thank you, Miss Holly.
You're
Yes, that's
welcome.
been a secret. That's been a secret till this week. The
Oh, really?
band was chosen by EA Sports to do the music on the video game.
Really? And so he's going to get to play
Yes.
with that?
No, they've already recorded that. They did the intro. I think they're doing all the intro and kind of other music, and then of course they do the Auburn music as well. I mean, all the bands I think do their songs, but like on the general game music, I think Auburn University is
that
the band
right?
that they use for that.
How
Yes.
cool is that? So anything that's not specific to a school, like I'm sure that would be challenging for the Auburn band to play Yay, Alabama.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen.
They'd all turn into pillars of salt.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So that's cool.
So all the general band music is it'll be Auburn University's band.
That's really neat. And so Caleb got to do. He participated in
Yeah,
that.
he got to record that. I understand they chose him. That was from they chose him because of that Metallica halftime show they did that 2 years ago with the light show.
Oh, really? That's cool. Well, that's neat. Well, good. That's congratulations to him. That's really neat.
Yes.
So, are you going to go buy the game now and get into it, or you just?
Well, that's a multi-billion-dollar game. You know, maybe they'll. we'll do it for half that.
I'm sure he'll buy the game and just watch it. He's not in the sports games, but I'm sure he'll put it on and see how he sounds.
Yeah, maybe we could negotiate something with the WZOB broadcast team to help out with EA Sports as well and do some of the broadcast.
John, now that you're saying that, Miss Holly, maybe we should, maybe I can get him to put a good word in with Auburn and get us some band music for our football.
That would be cool.
Fall.
That would be
Sure.
cool. Absolutely.
All right, Chris, make it happen.
All right, Chris Durr with Thrive Outdoor. Thanks, brother. Appreciate the time and the garden tip of the week. And man, stay cool.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right, see you, Chris.
Bye.
That's Chris Durr with Thrive Outdoor, the garden tip of the week, and that was really neat that he's the Auburn band is doing all the EA Sports.
Yeah, yeah.
And you said you had seen that. I didn't.
No, I think Cindy was the one. And Jordan, her son, he goes to Auburn, and so he keeps her updated. You know, because she's real tied, but her son goes to Auburn. So anyway,
that's good.
Steve said amen from the back. Amen. All right, well, it is time for our next commercial.
I feel like a missionary here. Sorry.
So next on Live with Lunch with Bryan and Steve, we'll have Beau Genelin in studio. So we're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back with more Lunch with Bryan and Steve right after this.
When you need to give something special, visit Tracy's in North Fort Payne. Beautiful floral arrangements, fresh or silk, stylish jewelry, scented candles and pampering products, cuddly stuffed animals, balloons, and candy. Tracy can help you put together the perfect gift and gourmet basket. Potted plants or hanging baskets with fresh spring flowers. At Tracy's, you're sure to find that unique gift that shows just how much you care. Tracy's is located at 2103 Galt Avenue in North Fort Payne. Open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5 and Saturdays from 9 to noon. For every occasion, visit Tracy's full-service florist, personalized printing, and gifts. DeKalb Fix-It Appliance Warehouse is a mouthful, so Terry and Bobby have decided to drop the Fix-It and focus on giving you the best prices on new appliances. Whirlpool, KitchenAid, Maytag, Amana, LG, Samsung, GE, and more. Up to 75% off retail priced on new, scratched and dent appliances. And as your Electrolux and Frigidaire dealer, DeKalb Appliance Warehouse is passing on more savings to you with even more new in-box selections. Need a refrigerator? Come in today and shop our overstocked warehouse. You will not get a better deal anywhere. We guarantee to match or beat any price. In-house service available to all as well. Used appliances will now be available at our previous location on Godfrey Avenue, along with the same computer sales and repairs our customers have come to enjoy. The DeKalb Appliance Warehouse is open weekdays 9 to 5, Wednesdays and Saturdays 9 to 2, located on Airport Road in Fort Payne.
Hi, everybody. This is Greg Fowler. I work with the group Alabama, the Alabama Band Fan Club and Museum, and you are having lunch with Bryan and Steve on WZOB. All right. That was painless.
Stop treating your home like a storage bin. Make room for living with Wilson Storage. No matter the need or budget, Wilson Storage has the solution for you. They have gated standard units and climate control units. They have security cameras, alarms on every door, and 24-hour access. You can even rent or pay your bill online. Just go to wilsonstorage.com or call 256-845-1530. Wilson Storage is family owned and been serving our community since 1988. Wilson Storage in Fort Payne.
All right, we're back. Lunch with Bryan and Steve, episode 17 in studio. Bryan Northcutt, Steve Chambers, Miss Holly Allen producing, and Cindy. It's hard when your daughter's name's Sydney.
Yes.
To call somebody Cindy. Cindy Bynum in studio. Thank you for all being here. We're excited to have in studio and live with us is Beau Genelin.
Hey.
He is a candidate for the city council. And so welcome to Lunch with Bryan and Steve.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
excited
you,
to have
Thank
you
you,
here.
Steve. Yeah.
I like the black and gold.
I appreciate that.
And
That's what I was going
too.
for. Right? Yep. Thank you.
Got the swag
got
going.
the merch.
Got the merch
That's pretty
going.
good.
And my wife, first question right out of the gates, because my wife has asked me, and she said, you got to ask him.
Okay.
Who does your social media stuff? Is that you?
That would be me.
She's ready to hire you right
well,
now.
I appreciate that. I've worked in marketing since college. It's what I do. Social media is a piece of it.
Yep.
Yeah, I handle it all myself.
Wow, it is fantastic. We have. She said, "Man, I've got to know how he does that because you've impressed her."
All right, well, I'll talk to Claire. I'll let her know a few secrets.
These young bucks, they know how to do
I
this.
know.
Yep.
You have to be under a certain age.
No, yeah, it is. It is that age class because us older folks, we're trying to figure this thing out.
Yeah.
We're like, I don't know,
Well,
Holly, what are we doing?
I mean, I think for me, I've got a couple of things planned in advance. Every single week you're going to have at least 2 things going out, but then
Yeah.
you leave room for something timely happens, you want to comment on it, you know, there's a
Okay.
current event, so I've always got gaps in the calendar to make sure
Now,
I
did
can
you go to
hop on
school
stuff.
for that? Is that something you
Well-
learned in school, or you just kind of pick it up on the way?
So when I was in school and learning marketing, there was no social media marketing class.
Is this at UAB?
This was at UAB.
Okay.
2007 to 11.
Okay.
I actually have an undergrad bachelor's in psychology and a minor in marketing.
Okay.
So,
That,
yeah.
seems like it would work together.
they do, and it wasn't like I was doing psych and not knowing I even needed a minor until it was like junior year, and my counselor said I needed it to graduate. So that was when I happened to take a social psychology class.
Yeah.
And there's a whole psychology of the consumer.
Okay.
And that was when I was like, you know what? I think marketing's what I want to do.
Now, but your job is not tied. Is it tied directly to that? I thought. Or, did you
So
say
I-
it's finance?
Oh, so I'm vice president of marketing for a financial
Okay.
distribution.
I got you.
Yeah.
So it is. So you.
So
are
I'm in
used to that.
financial services, but my customers, our audience, are financial advisors. So I am talking to financial advisors, and that's who we're trying to get to work with us.
Okay.
Rather than an end client or an end consumer.
That was my minor, financial planning.
Oh.
So, like
Yeah,
I
it's-
told you,
I know enough about the industry, but
I
it's
know
not
why
my
I'm poor
forte.
now. So.
Yeah.
So you're on the social media end of that with
All of
those
it, right?
advisors.
Email marketing, events, social media is a big piece
So
of it, but it's not
what's
all of it.
something about that is kind of, I don't want to say a trade secret, but one of those kind of nuggets of, and you've mentioned one about having the timely posts and things like that. What's something else that's
I think it's
interesting
all
about
about knowing your audience. I think that's the first thing. If you know what makes them tick, any data analytics you have about who they are, what they like, and that's how you really control your messaging and you make sure to hit home what you want to get across. And it's all, there's a saying that features tell, benefits sell. So if you're trying to sell a TV, you're not selling the size of it. You're selling the fact that they can sit all the way in the back of the room and hear it and see it and the value that it brings to them, and not just the specs of what it is.
So there is
same kind of
there's a ton of psychology involved.
I think so.
Yeah.
But that's just because that's what I went to school for.
That's fascinating. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've got to chew on that. It's just one of those-
Psychology
Yeah.
and marketing, I've never thought of that.
Oh, who would have thought it?
They're
Yeah, they do.
the same family.
Yeah.
Well,
really,
that's
aren't
been
they?
that's kind of
for
been the
real.
theme for decades. I mean, ever since really, I guess maybe radio hit.
Yeah. I mean, why is the kids cereal at eye level
Oh, yeah.
for the kids? You know,
Yeah.
in bright colors. It's because that's product placement is part of marketing.
Yeah.
That works for me too.
I'm
Yeah.
sure I watched. I'm sure I watched a YouTube thing on that. You
Uh-huh.
know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that goes into a whole. I mean, the advancement because my kids are on YouTube, and I'm sure yours are too. And you sit and watch what they watch, and you go, "Well, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen."
I do agree with that.
But it's got 20 million subscribers.
Yeah.
And you're like, how?
And I heard y'all talking about reels before I came in. I was listening to the show, and it's the same thing. Our attention span is
so
not
short.
what it used to be.
Commercials are now only 15 seconds that I've noticed when they pull stuff up on YouTube or things like that. You don't even get 30-second commercials because it's so fast.
Yeah, I know that we make our money on commercials, and Lord bless our sponsors.
Oh, yes,
but
please.
I'm so
Yeah, y'all can keep
annoyed.
sponsoring.
I'm so annoyed that
We'll watch your commercials.
on television we're back to watching commercials. Right? We got away from it with streaming, and now we're all the way back.
Yeah.
Anyway, something we
Very
complain
true.
about all the time. How come we're watching commercials again?
So
Being a psychology major, that would be great.
Yeah.
If you're an elected official.
Oh, right. Yeah. Hey, I would agree.
I know what you're thinking.
Yeah. That's not
your
my
body
specialty.
language.
It was just undergrad, but
It might make you want to jump out a window.
right.
But at least you understand why you want to jump out the window.
Right. There is an entire social aspect to it. Motivation, emotion, all that stuff is still somewhere in the back of my.
Okay, so when did you make the decision? Walk us through. You're looking at the landscape of Fort Payne.
You lost a dare.
Yeah.
You lost
Exactly what it was. No.
How did that go? How did the process of that come about?
Well, okay. So I won't go into the life story, but I grew up here.
No, we can go life story.
Well, let's start with.
We got an hour, brother.
Let's start with. I was here my entire life. Moved away, went to UAB, worked in marketing. Could not foresee a career in Fort Payne necessarily. I really wasn't sure if we'd ever move back. My wife always wanted to move back. She's also from this area.
Okay.
Once COVID happened, we were spending every weekend we could going to Little River, going to DeSoto Falls, seeing Citadel Rocks, but living in Birmingham.
Okay.
My mom is here. My in-laws are here. We've got kids now. So once my job went remote, that was our opportunity to really move back.
Okay.
I swear I'm getting somewhere with this. What was the question again?
What led you to say, I want to run
all right.
for city council?
So I'm in Fort Payne in 2021.
I know. Hey, listen, we can go together on that.
I was rambling.
We're interested in your background, and we're used to this.
The funny part is so this is how Steven, you have to deal with this. You asked the question, I'm like, oh crap.
You didn't know either.
What was the question?
So it's 2021. I'm in Fort Payne, and I knew I work remotely from home, and I enjoy what I do. I love it, but I still wanted to be involved in the community, give back, have a little bit more purpose. So I was keeping my eye out on volunteer opportunities. Maybe I could do something with Main Street. Maybe I could do something with the school board one day. I was just keeping an eye on things. And then it wasn't until we actually had someone break into our home in the fall.
Oh, wow.
Totally not what you would think would drive me to do it, but just what that did, what that experience was like, how things were handled, how I had to take everything into my own hands and really figure it out. And that was when, if I'm going to complain about something about the city, I'm going to make sure I'm part of the solution and I'm not just venting about things that I dislike. And so that was my lean in moment. And it wasn't all city council. It was church. It was saying yes to things that were presented to me. When it was, hey, we want somebody to do Sunday school for the adults on Sunday morning, I was like, sure, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Because that was just, like I said, I would call it a lean in moment
Well,
for
so
everything.
full disclosure, Steve and I think we've talked about this enough to everybody knows that we go to First Methodist Church, and Jeff, our pastor, was going to be out of town, and he wanted me to make an announcement that we have a new Sunday school starting. And I need you to introduce the guy. And he says, Beau Genelin. I'm like, who? Beau Genelin, I don't think we even met.
No, we hadn't. And we were in church in Birmingham. And when we moved back, we weren't really sure where we were going to land. And we visited several. I actually grew up Catholic my entire life.
Okay.
But because of how small the youth program was, I was doing Wednesdays and Sunday nights at the Methodist Church, 3rd through 12th.
Yeah.
That's how I met my wife, Sarah.
Okay.
So that was when we came back. That was where we wanted to spend our time.
Well, it's been fantastic getting to know you. I mean, it's
Yeah,
been so much fun.
Thank you.
And so that's when that happens, you go, okay, this is where I'm going to land on.
I'm just going to
getting
pay
involved.
attention, right, civically to what can I do to make a difference.
Yeah.
And then, you're just watching council meetings. You're seeing what the landscape is. I know what my priorities are as a parent of young kids in Fort Payne. And am I seeing those values reflected in the city? And if I'm not, what am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's when I decided to run.
So you decided to run, and now you regret it.
Not yet. Not yet. We'll see.
Do you feel the momentum?
I do. And that's,
I do too.
with what you guys mentioned about, Claire's comments on the campaign, Of course I want to win. Of course I want to serve, but I want to run a really good campaign.
Yeah.
And that's, it's not tunnel vision, but that's the first goal right now of several.
Well, you have done a great job with that.
Well,
and we mentioned earlier on the show, so we're still, I'm still studying. So when we talk with candidates, we just want you guys to know that we're digging in too. We're going to ask the hard questions, and we'll get to that at some point. But because we want to know what you're standing for and what you think about the landscape of the city, and we'll probably do that next segment. But we're almost into this towards the end of this one, so we'll hold off. But we're still studying, and I just want everybody to know that we want the best version of Fort Payne that we can vote for, because that's our obligation. Your obligation is to lay the platform out there, and our obligation is to listen and go, this is what we think works for us. But I do agree that your marketing, pulled up, Holly, the scavenger hunt. I printed this off of your
good.
So let's look at that real quick. You see it under random stuff?
Is that it?
Yeah.
So the Go with Beau FP summer checklist. Talk us through what came about and how this happened.
Well, I've thought of things like this for a while. I had a list of probably, I think it was like 36 to 40 different things that I could be doing with my kids for the summer. Lila, my daughter, is 8. We always do a summer bucket list. It's not all Fort Payne stuff. It's like go to the beach, visit family, tons of stuff.
Yeah.
I also have a friend who is from Fort Payne. Her name is Mary Lou Morgan, maiden name Lamon. So it's Lydia Randolph's daughter, Mary Lou.
Okay.
She now lives in Destin, and she puts these out for herself on her website for Destin.
Yeah.
And that was when I saw it, and it just clicked that this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So, selfishly, I took up some real estate with the Beau Genelin stuff. And I could only fit probably about 10 other things on here. So I have an entire list of ideas. It's just a matter of making sure I've got the time, I've got the budget, I've got the space for it. But we'll probably do a back-to-school version if I can swing it. So,
yeah, that's
I'm
pretty
excited.
cool.
Wow, this reminds me of Claire.
Yes, yeah, that's
This
why.
is
I mean,
Claire.
it's one of those that it's got you on it, which is good,
Right.
But it's also can bring kids in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And really, is there? I think I'm trying to run through the list.
So this is what you wanted to do over the summer, right?
Yeah, this is just an idea
is
for
actually-
for
yeah.
parents in the area. If if we're going to complain about there's nothing for kids to do,
Yeah.
which is
There's some
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is still a lot that we do have, and maybe the first step to building something else is just appreciating what we have. And
Yeah.
So that was when, if I can plug a local business, if I can plug Pete the Cat or whatever it is,
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Aw.
That's really
That
neat.
is a good.
It's a really
enjoy
good
what
idea.
you got.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure,
absolutely.
the QR
Quit
code will take
complaining.
them to.
The QR code will take you to read more or donate.
Every Wednesday at church from 1 to 3, we can give you something.
Right, yeah.
That's great.
Well, good. I think it's time for our first commercial break. We'll come back having Beau Genelin in studio, and we'll start digging into a little bit more campaign
All right.
stuff here when we come back. You're listening to Live Lunch with Bryan and Steve. We'll be right back right after this.
My Supply is my hometown hardware store. At My Supply, I never have to wander aimlessly around the store looking for what I need. I know that when I walk through the door, I'm going to be greeted by a person and helped right away. So whether you're looking for plumbing, electrical, hand or power tools, welding supplies, standard or metric fasteners, or anything else to help with your home projects and repairs, shop My Supply on Godfrey Avenue in Northeast Fort Payne. Open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. My Supply, your hometown hardware store.
Do you need to declutter? Wish you could free up some valuable space at work or home? Helium Mini Storage has climate control units available, and all their units are gated for maximum protection. You can also store your stuff at home with their Four Seasons or Max Steel storage buildings for sale. Just come by Helium Mini Storage on Galt Avenue in North Fort Payne. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. And while you're there, be sure to check out play sets for the kids. Store your stuff with Helium Mini Storage.
This is Trisha Dunn with the City of Fort Payne, and I love listening to WZOB and the Bryan and Steve Show.
Rawson Pools is eliminating every reason why you can't have your very own. No cash on hand? There's financing available at Rawson Pools. Ground too rocky? Rawson Pools is installing hybrid above-ground pools with 14-gauge steel panels, making it more durable and cost-effective than your average above-grounder. Check out their Facebook page to see what 30 years of pool installation experience can give you. Call 256-638-5904 to take the plunge. And always visit Rawson Pool and Supply Store in Rainsville for all your pool supply and accessory needs. Rawson Pools, the pool professionals.
We're back, Lunch with Bryan and Steve, episode 17. We are live in studio with Beau Genelin, candidate for Fort Payne City Council. And so we've been talking a little bit about his upbringing and growing up in Fort Payne. Your dad was the plant manager,
correct,
of Heil.
Yes.
And so where are your family? You're from Wisconsin, is that right?
My family is originally from rural Wisconsin, very far north.
How about those Green Bay Packers?
How about
Are you a Packer fan?
I grew up, I'm still a Packers fan. I don't watch a ton of NFL football.
Yeah.
My mom is definitely a cheesehead
Is
Packers
she really?
fan, big
Okay.
time.
I've literally got a cheesehead.
Oh, so do we, yes. And I've only been to, I've been to Lambeau Field. I've not been to a game at Lambeau Field. My mom has. I've been to a Jacksonville Jaguars game against the Packers a long time ago.
Okay.
But they moved here from rural Wisconsin back in '82. My dad took a job at Heil, worked his way up to plant manager. He was at the time the youngest plant manager. I'm not sure if that's still the case.
Okay.
But Heil brought my family to Fort Payne.
And how old were you? Were you born?
I was not born. I was born in '88.
Okay, 88. So you were born and raised, lived here your entire life.
Yep, born and raised in Fort Payne.
Born in '88.
Yeah.
Born in Golly.
We did have a brief.
Holly, how's that feel?
I feel old.
Also, I'm 36. So how does that feel?
Well, that's what I was going to say earlier, and I didn't get to because I was looking at the list of candidates. But I think you're pretty clearly the youngest.
I think so. I do know Dr. Chad. So when I started UAB, I think he was not quite in med school. Maybe he was a senior. So we're a few years apart.
You're close. Okay.
Yeah, I think that'd be the closest.
Okay. Well, cool.
Yep.
So love Fort Payne, born and raised here, and so let's shift now over towards the political side of things and start diving in because I've told people. I think I've said this on the air. I don't know. I've talked to so many people. The last time the race hit, I was having kids running out my ears. I still do, but now they can run and go to the bathroom by themselves.
Pay attention to them now.
Yeah, and I can just kick them out of the house. So I wasn't paying as much attention. And then when we launched the show, quite frankly and honestly, we really had the election of this city and all the stuff that's going on was nowhere near our radar.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a couple of council members on the show, and then we start looking at the landscape, and then we have other.
We're like, oh wait.
We're like, wait a
there's an
minute.
election this year.
Okay, so I think we're actually getting pretty close to the epicenter of this election.
You are.
The 5 years threw me off.
Yeah.
Well, so anyway.
COVID.
Right.
And we and even last week, we were after post-production, we were sitting around talking. I just felt like, I think we've got a responsibility here as this show to be fair, to be tough, to be assertive, to ask the tough questions that everybody's asking about. And so I'm starting to watch and listen and learn and kind of go, okay, what's going on out there that we need to pay attention to? And here's what I'm getting. So y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. It seems like each little individual decision that's being made amongst the council and the mayor and everything, that one decision is getting critiqued by everybody from different angles. I don't think we should do this. I think we should do this. And then you go over to another one, and two people may shift positions on two really similar topics just based on opinion about, well, I like having this here, but I don't like having this here. So the city should do this, but the city should not do this. And that's really not a platform.
Right.
That's more of just your opinion on a particular topic. So I'm trying to get to what's the overall theme of your campaign, and what is your viewpoint on city officials' involvement in particular issues or non-involvement? I don't know.
Yeah.
So kind of lay it out there, and we'll just hash it out. How about that?
Well, super high level, without going into the weeds, the big three things that I keep talking about, and they're broad intentionally because they're umbrella terms for a lot of things.
Yep.
But one is what I call family-centered community. So, if I make a decision, especially if it pertains to money that's going to be spent, it's going to be spent wisely, and it's going to be spent to benefit the community.
Okay.
Secondly, what I've got on my list is safety. again, that goes back to supporting first responders and law enforcement, but it also goes back to the break-in that I had at my home. That's super important to me. And then the third thing that I've got on my list is local businesses and smart growth. So again, by smart growth, that means we only have so much money. If we are going to invest it in something, we're going to make the right decisions. So that's super high level. I can go into the weeds.
Yeah. Is there? Well, let's talk. And you can pick. I'll give you the option. Steve, do you want to?
Well, that your break-in.
Yeah.
I know that's bad enough.
Sure.
But that took some twists and turns, didn't it?
It did.
I don't know, if you want to talk about it,
I
fine.
did.
If you
I'm
don't,
happy to
fine.
talk about it. There
Okay.
are still things that are ongoing.
Yeah.
But there were actually, what people don't know is there were 2 instances. So that's the first thing. Same individual twice.
Wow.
Wow.
We have things unrelated to the break-in, but similar. We have a homeless situation downtown.
Yes,
We have
that's true.
panhandling by the interstate right over here.
Yeah.
And so there are ordinances that can be passed related to aggressive panhandling, especially if it's in certain areas or near an ATM. There is the HUD with the federal government actually has a program called the Continuum of Care, and they provide funds to, their goal is to end homelessness, which is pretty ambitious. But they do have funds that are designated to geographic regions. So there is funding available for Northeast Alabama. Well, the primary point of contact for the Continuum of Care in our area is the mayor of Gadsden, Alabama. So do you think the funds designated for this area are reaching this area? Maybe, maybe not. That's something that we should look into.
Huh. Okay.
And
we deal with that, in our Serving Our Savior ministry.
Right.
Yeah.
But so many of the folks that are homeless, they just want a little bit of food and be on their
Sure.
way. They're kind of happy.
Yeah.
Well, I for one can't understand that, but a lot of people can't.
Yeah,
understand
and
that.
homelessness is a state. It's not like you are homeless forever, right? It's something that you experience, and it's usually some triggering life event. You lost somebody, you went through a divorce, you lost a job. So, there is a compassionate route you have to take. And we've got wonderful churches, we've got a great community, we've got Marked for Life Ministries who does incredible work.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took over Mountain View. Is it Mountain View Motel?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
They did.
took-
I saw that.
They turned
yeah.
that, I think maybe 15 beds
Right.
for the homeless, and I'm not sure what the
Yeah, they did
stipulations
That's a
great
are.
challenge. That is a very, because having been a small business owner and in several capacities employed folks in that position, that's tough because there is some state of being that occurs that's a challenge to overcome that cycle and go, okay, I'm done with that lifestyle. I'm ready to move into more of a normal, what we would call a normal lifestyle, out of that cycle of the panhandling. And so that is a challenge.
Yeah, and I don't mean to say that those are one and the same. Panhandling and homelessness,
No,
totally
I agree.
different.
I agree.
But I think, and not to compare it and make it as trivial as parenting, but that's just what I'm thinking about and what I deal with all the time. You've got compassion, but you also have rules and enforcement
Yes.
and discipline.
And both are
those
compassionate.
Right,
Yes.
and those are things that we should hold together, in
Yes.
different hands and
Yeah.
make sure
Yeah.
that we can handle it that way.
Okay. So any other particular situation, and of course it's all over Facebook, so we can grab anyone you want to grab
Okay.
of the decisions for local businesses and smart growth, because I know that's a big hot topic right now.
Yeah, I
on social media.
Without being too critical of where we are now, if we are going to invest money in retail development, for example, I'm going to go back to the family-centered community bullet point that I have. And is it going to be best for the citizens and the families of Fort Payne? I'm a hometown guy at heart, and so that's what I'm going to be paying attention to. I also want to make sure we continue to support Main Street the way we have, and we support the rest of the city any way we can.
Yeah.
But, I also realize funds are limited. I know what appears to be the current state that we're in.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, as ambitious as I want to be and as many goals as I have for a term, I think the first couple of years are going to be paying your bills and making sure that you're making fiscally responsible decisions.
Do you know, Steve, you may answer this. I was talking to somebody today about some of that fiscal responsibility, and we need to ask other guests that come on. But who creates the budget for Fort Payne? Who says this allotment, this line item, this thing? Is that the council's job? Who develops
That
it?
is an excellent question, and I really hate to say the wrong thing, but I know the council has input.
Sure.
I also know, I've met Grant Ledbetter. He's super smart, who works with the city. So Yeah.
So that's really different. That's different from the long range plan.
Yeah.
I guess they have the
Right.
short range plan and then the
Right.
long range.
I think the bigger thing is the council needs to adhere to the budget that they do pass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It's debate. I guess the debate in town is, are they in the red or are they in the black? Would you agree with that? There's a
Right.
debate on that.
Yeah, there is debate on that. And honestly, what I was provided by the city is the budget. What I've seen on Facebook is more current state of
Okay.
where we are, not the budget. that
Because
was
there's a
passed.
difference in a balance sheet and line items and long-term
Correct.
spending versus short-term spending and staying within a budget. But at the same time, I mean, you speak in terms of Dave Ramsey, it ought to be pretty simple. You know, your income is here, your outgo
Right.
is here, and
Yeah.
they should balance somewhere
Yeah.
along the way.
And we also, again, not being critical, but we took out a bond for certain things, and then we didn't use them for all the things that we said we would.
Okay.
So that's something that, if I'm going to get the public's involvement and get them to buy into a vision that I have for Fort Payne, that vision's going to be the North Star of every decision we make. Let's look back. If we're going to upset the public over a decision, it's going to have to be because here's what we said we were going to do that's best for the city, and we're going to do it.
Okay.
Not the other way around.
Yeah, yeah, it's a challenge, and we don't want to. We're just trying to get facts information.
Sure.
We're not trying to castigate or
Absolutely.
impugn motives at all, because I understand. I mean, I've done enough leadership stuff to know that when you get into the heat of a moment, it's very easy to go, okay, to get off of that track and go, okay, well, for this moment, I need to pull the credit card out and run it on that.
Right.
But you don't want to live off the credit card.
No.
And make sure that you're being responsible with everything else. Okay. So from a safety standpoint, what are some things that we can do? Because that was your number 2 point. In your break-in, and quite frankly, in the area that you live, and it's not uncommon. I mean, we know somebody from church who's had a similar circumstance in the last couple of years.
We had a guy right out here.
Really?
That Tim, early in the morning, I think he was in his underwear.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was. I'm glad it was Tim.
Was he
And it
looking for
wasn't
lunch
me.
with Brian and Steve?
No, this has been
you say it
a
was
few
Tim?
months. No,
Tim
Tim
was-
came up
no.
and was like, "Hey,
Oh, okay.
what are you doing?" So yeah.
Hey, listen,
Not good.
listen, let me explain something. Don't come up on these studios, because we're ready if you come showing up. Let's just put it that way. For lunch with Brian and
We'll
Steve.
shoot back.
All right, so we do have to take our top of the hour break. We'll be right back with more with Beau Genelin right after this. You're listening or watching to Lunch with Brian and Steve.
So long.
Cheers.
Adios.
Bye, Felicia. Don't let the door hit you.
More and more people are saying goodbye to pests with Safe Solutions Plus LLC. And it's no wonder with their top-notch customer service, quality products, and lower prices. And now with their new website, it's never been easier to manage your pest control service with Safe Solutions Plus. Just visit sspestandtermite.com to view your billing details, make payments online, and review past services. Family owned and operated, Safe Solutions Plus is located at 934 Main Street West in Rainsville. Call 256-638-7378. Safe Solutions Plus, protecting homes and businesses one solution at a time.
Hey, then. Bye.
This is Marshall Henderson, pastor of First Baptist Church of Fort Payne, Alabama, and you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve.
Stop treating your home like a storage bin. Make room for living with Wilson Storage. No matter the need or budget, Wilson Storage has the solution for you. They have gated standard units and climate control units. They have security cameras, alarms on every door, and 24-hour access. You can even rent or pay your bill online. Just go to wilsonstorage.com or call 256-845-1530. Wilson Storage is family owned and been serving our community since 1988. Wilson Storage in Fort Payne.
This is WZOB Fort Payne, 100.9 FM and 1250 AM.
Lunch with Brian and Steve. Sorry, y'all should listen to the stuff we talk about off the air.
We're back.
We're back, so don't say anything, Steve. We're back live in studio, Lunch with Bryan and Steve. Bryan Northcutt, Steve Chambers, Holly Allen, Cindy Bynum. Who else is around here? Beau Genelin's on live with us here today, candidate for Fort Payne City Council. And so, Steve, go ahead. You want to ask a question?
Okay. In my simple terms, in my simple terms, what would you change, and what are you happy with, city wise right now?
Sure. I think the things that I'm happy with that, some of them are just things that Fort Payne's been blessed with. Some of the things that the council's doing. I think downtown looks great.
Yeah.
I love it. I live near downtown. I absolutely love.
Especially at night.
Yeah. I do absolutely love our city schools, and I also love just the things that we've been blessed with, all of our natural resources. We've got the Canyon and the National Park Service. We've got DeSoto State Park. We've got Citadel Rock. There's a ton of stuff to be grateful for. I absolutely love the area that we live. Yeah. And then what was the second part of that was like areas of opportunity, things that I want to change, right?
Yeah. Is there, specifically, what would you?
Well, I think
you went with a positive.
Right. And I think,
compliment sandwich.
Start with, pro, con, pro. You got to end on the pro. But so the things that I do love that I just mentioned, all of our, outdoor recreation, natural beauty, once we get a hold of the budget and we've figured things out and, maybe we haven't spent a ton of money over time, we've not borrowed, really what we should look into is going back to that Carden property on the north end and really building that up as something that is for the good of the public. I know there were plans to do biking trails, hiking trails, all the way up. So this is, I'm assuming everybody knows where it is.
Help us.
It's north of Little Ridge.
Okay.
So it's past that Wilson Storage on the right.
Okay.
It's a ton of area. They actually leveled it out already for soccer fields and baseball fields that weren't used. But as part of that, there were plans for an amphitheater. There were plans for trails. And I do think at least the trails, you've got enough interest from Huntsville cyclists, Chattanooga, Birmingham, that I think that's something you might be able to do for a few $100,000 as opposed to the multi-million-dollar complex we were going to get, and at least start using that and making the most of it so that the citizens can enjoy it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. City pool.
So
you were, I would say, on the front edge of that conversation.
Well, I'll start with, I grew up on the swim team. We went to the city pool. My mom lives right by the city pool. And so, with kids,
I worked at the city pool the year you were born.
Oh,
in 1988.
Nice.
I was one of the first employees. No, I ran the desk.
Oh, nice.
And me and Ken Underwood, and we would catch flies and slam them up against the countertop to kill them because there were flies everywhere.
That was a baseball field when I was growing up.
And I didn't know. I'm old enough and young enough
that baseball field
to play on that field and then to work at the pool when it became a city pool.
Before that, your Fort Payne Wildcats played there.
Did they really?
Well, DeKalb County High School.
That's true. Wow. Way back. But was that when you played?
Yeah. Well, I still got my leather helmet.
Oh, gosh.
All right. So back to city pool and how that all played itself out. Because you were in a campaign to go, hey, what's up with this?
Yeah. Again, going back to the lean-in moment. I didn't know I was going to do council at that point in time in the fall.
Okay.
But I had heard during a council meeting in December that they basically said it's going to cost us $1.1 million. This is approximately. I don't recall exactly what the number was. But it's going to cost us over $1 million to fix what we've got, or it's going to cost $1.5 million to build something new. And rather than decide what they were going to do or look into alternatives, they said, essentially, we're just going to table it. The pool's not going to be open this summer.
Yeah.
So that was decided as of December, and there was not a whole lot of chatter about it. And I stayed quiet because I really was certain, the swim team is going to make some noise about this. Someone's going to write a letter to the editor. We're all going to find out.
Yeah.
But I think it was March that I still hadn't heard anything. And I found it incredibly frustrating, especially after talking with friends who, again, have kids on the swim team. And so I just put a really simple, we've got nothing for kids, we've got no pool, and there's no plan. And I think it's not about the money, it's about the complete lack of prioritization.
Yeah.
That's what it was for me. And so I just put that out there. A few pages picked it up. It got shared a lot. Next thing I know, they're going to have a work session open to the public. And so I made sure I was there.
Yeah.
That was the start of it.
Okay. Did that help propel you into the council race? Did you think that was? I had to be a component.
I got
of it.
some comments on Facebook that this is what we need or things like that. So yeah, I would say probably February. Again, I wasn't sure it was going to be council, but I knew I wanted to be more civically involved.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was shortly after that I made up my mind.
So let me ask you this question: as far as, and I love the specificity of all of your points and the things you've gone. When it comes down to, let's just kind of talk some psychology, so to speak. Ooh. When it comes down to that moment when you've got roughly half of Fort Payne over here, the other half of Fort Payne over here, and it's a choice, and you've got to go back to your priorities and go, what is it that you think qualifies you to go in that moment? I'm willing to make the tough decision, even though I may upset some of my close friends.
Yeah.
What would you think qualify you for that? And are you just saying, hey, maybe it won't, but I'm ready to go and give it a shot?
Well, I think first of all, I have, in my opinion, I have morals. I have values that I want to live by. I think I make good decisions, and I think I can be influential if I really care about it. But I also am open to being influenced.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just important, if you have one citizen tell you something, you have to listen, and you have to take it into consideration. But at the same time, you've got a market sample of one.
Yeah.
And you've got 15,000 people. So you really need to make sure, you talk to people at different ends of town, different areas, and really understand the nuance to all the decisions you're going to make.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that's a good answer, but that's what I think makes me qualified to make those decisions.
Sure.
So when you went back to the pool,
I'm sorry, got off the pool there. Go ahead.
So we
started the chatter.
You
we
suggested
made sure it was known.
Another construction company look at it, or somebody suggested it to you.
Yeah, and we had that session, and to give them credit, the current council members all came up with potential solutions. It was discussed, and I think that is when, after we shared it, after the meeting, more of the general public became aware that it was not going to open. And so I think you have information that I also know that maybe not everybody knows.
The unsung hero was Sam's Construction.
There you go.
It was.
Speaking of pools, y'all talked about this
Sam's
at a pool party.
Construction. Do they do pools? Or they just construction?
They did this one
Yeah,
because Sam Wilson is a construction genius.
He is.
Absolutely.
So talk about that.
And I am kin to him. So.
Well, I just know conversations were had around town with a few people and Sam Construction, and that was when I think, of course, they're willing for the betterment of the city. Yeah, they're going to go take a look at it, and I think they gave an estimate. I don't know the final number. It was somewhere between $2,000 to $4,000, and Sam Construction.
Really, $2,000 to $4,000?
A little bit under that 1.2 million.
And I think that's also why I think the city's been cautious to say, it's potentially only open for the year, which is probably true. We don't know how long it's going to last.
Yeah.
But they did repair it,
so
and also
might be a stopgap. But then,
I would also say
later.
$2,000 to $4,000 is probably cheaper than the water bill it was to leave the hose in it all summer last year. So, I think it was a wise investment. And the bigger thing isn't about we spent money on it or we didn't. It is a city pool in an area known for outdoor recreation is table stakes. If a business is going to come here and bring jobs, they want to know the families who are going to work there, their kids have something to go do.
Yeah.
So to me, that's what it was. It was
and
priorities are out of line if we don't have a pool.
And sitting down to go, wait a minute, before we close it.
Right.
Let's
look at some options. Let's talk to some local businesses.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fair. And we're still good on we're good on time. So
it's still going well through June so far.
I think so. I've only been 3 times, and I know there was one day I was there. There weren't many, but I know there are water aerobics on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and my mom goes.
Yeah.
And I know they had a record number on Tuesday, and I'm pretty sure they have a higher number today.
I could not believe when we moved back here. I moved back here in 2013. Born and raised here. Left in '91. Went to school. Stayed there. I couldn't believe they still had the high dive. When I got back, I'm like, how? There's no that.
I missed the high dive.
There were so many belly flops and near fatalities.
That thing was high.
It was high and springy.
Yeah,
I'm talking about that board had some show enough spring. The only stranger thing is that you go over to Point Mallard in Decatur and they still got the high dive up there that you can go jump off right now. Me and you could go jump off the high dive
while the waves are going.
Yeah. I think that's the oldest wave pool in the U.S.
I think so
at Point Mallard.
But anyway, so that was interesting.
So is the swim team good to go this year?
The swim team is back this year. I don't have enough details on it, but I know that they're back. I know they had sign-ups, so it seems like everything.
Yeah, it feels like that our city is just right on the edge of that. Because if you go over to like a Scottsboro or a Gunnersville or an Albertville
Or a Boaz even.
or a Boaz,
I mean,
there's a little, we're just like right under that in some form. But it doesn't, I mean, from a size-wise, we're not. We're the
Right.
same size city. So what is it that's different there? Uh-oh, here we go. I got a grin out of
I
that
don't
one.
know how much I want to say. I want to remain very positive.
You could just say
No,
landlocked.
we need to, there's nothing negative about.
No, there's not. But there's so
we
much
need to know
chatter.
that.
There's so much chatter about Albertville because they're
Yeah, well,
constantly announcing we're getting X, we're getting Y, we're getting Z, and it's frustrating. It drives us crazy. But I will say,
A movie theater. I mean, just a movie theater.
Right,
Steve.
be so happy.
I'll just say, we can get all the pavement we want. We can do all the retail development that we want. Albertville will never have the canyon. Albertville won't
That's
have the
exactly
mountains.
right.
There is so much to be grateful for about Fort Payne and what we have available to us at our fingertips. If we can pour into
How
that
would you
and
leverage that? Yes. So let's talk leveraging that, because I agree. I mean, if you look at when people in Birmingham, when people in Mobile, when people in Huntsville want to go to a Asheville type place, this is it, buddy.
Yeah.
And it is a third of the distance.
Yeah.
And if this were Gatlinburg, you would see cabins all over every ridge, everywhere.
Yeah.
So is that what?
I think
Help
we
me.
want to be careful, right?
Yeah,
Because
I agree.
There are things that we enjoy about a small town lifestyle that I don't think we want to lose.
Because you can commerciance that.
You can.
In a big way.
I think the big thing.
Just getting out of here. is
Yeah.
Taking your life in your own
Yeah,
hands.
seriously.
In the traffic, I mean.
The traffic, yeah, we're
And
positioned.
that's what I meant also. But
Not the guy in the underwear.
No, he's not there.
He hides under that tree.
What was the question?
Welcome to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. All right, how do we leverage our natural resources and
Not over commercialize.
over commercialize things, but also provide opportunities for our kids. And,
Yeah, I think we've got to go back. I know I've said it already, and this is super ambitious. So again, we're paying bills, but we've got to go back to the Carden property. I really think we've got to build that up.
Yeah.
It's such a special place that should be for the public good. Beyond that, we are losing hotels. I don't know if it's public knowledge. Econo Lodge, Days Inn, I
Yeah.
don't think they're here for much longer.
Yeah.
And so we have to make sure if we want to leverage tourism, we've got enough places for people to stay. And even beyond that, I think, just my marketing brain, Fort Payne is, you should say, it's where people visit, it's where the outdoors come alive, it's where families stay, and really promote the city. And hopefully, once you get some beyond retail development, if you really do economic development, you've got good industrial jobs and new employers coming here. That's something that, leverage the outdoors to really sell this place.
Very good, very good. All right, we got one more segment with Beau. I'm not sure what else we can tackle. You got any trivia for him, Steve?
I do not have a
Don't have a trivia. We'll ask some more questions to Beau Genelin right after this. You're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve.
Stop treating your home like a storage bin. Make room for living with Wilson Storage. No matter the need or budget, Wilson Storage has the solution for you. They have gated standard units and climate control units. They have security cameras, alarms on every door, and 24-hour access. You can even rent or pay your bill online. Just go to wilsonstorage.com or call 256-845-1530. Wilson Storage is family owned and been serving our community since 1988. Wilson Storage in Fort Payne.
This is Paul Crawford from The Locals, and you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve on WZOB.
Hello, this is Mike Shirey with the Fort Payne Improvement Authority. As we approach the 4th of July holiday, FPIA encourages everyone to embrace and acknowledge the freedom we enjoy across our great country. This freedom came with great sacrifice, and we never should take this for granted. We at FPIA wish everyone an enjoyable holiday celebration with family and friends. Remember to keep your celebration safe and exercise caution and follow proper safety guidelines when lighting fireworks. Especially be aware of your surroundings and stay away from power lines. From your friends at the Fort Payne Improvement Authority, have a safe and happy 4th of July.
Steve, don't say stuff right where we're going over here that's that funny. All right,
We're on.
I know. I'm looking here because I'm reminding myself to not forget our sponsor segments. You're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. So anybody that's watching me, I'm doing this because the last segment, Holly threw this graphic up, and I forgot to promo our segment sponsor, which is the Cab Sportsman Pawn. Brian Jones, thank you so much. Speaking of the north end of town and local business, you need to go to the Cab Sportsman and Pawn. North end of town, Brian Jones, if you need anything, ammunition, guns, knives, camo, gear, blinds, safes, all of those things.
All things guys love.
All things, yeah, they've got that sign up, don't they?
Yes,
all
they do. I took a picture of it. I meant to
7mm 08s.
Yeah.
So,
we sell things men love.
We sell things men love. DeKalb Sportsman and Pawn, their segment sponsor. Thank you so much, Brian Jones, for sponsoring Lunch with Bryan and Steve. That's the reason I'm turning around, because she had that up there last segment, and I told her we're going to do a segment sponsor, and then I started asking Beau a question, and I forgot. So welcome to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. It's just the ADHD version of whatever, because I can't keep up with
Saturday
it. So.
Night Live.
That's right. You got to get it quick. Got to get it quick. So we were talking about with Beau Genelin, candidate for city council, and we've been having lots of discussions. Very good information. Thank you for answering these questions.
Yeah.
And so I guess we've talked about family-centered things, safety, smart business growth. We talked about comparing ourselves to some of the other cities around.
He's a Sunday school teacher.
He's a Sunday school teacher.
Yeah, but does he know about brain rot?
Oh, brain rot. You want to do some questions?
He's young.
He is young. Do you know brain rot terms?
What generation are you?
I'm hardcore, right in the middle millennial.
You're
Okay.
a millennial. Okay.
Which, by the way, we're not young anymore necessarily. We're younger, but the youngest millennial is 30. Oldest millennial is about 44, 43, 44.
Is that right?
Gen X.
Wow, yeah, I'm a Gen X.
There's a lot of stuff here I don't know. Yeah.
And I feel like we
Okay.
never get talked about. Everybody's always like Gen
Xers.
Yes,
Well,
I
it's
feel like
because
we're
we're
always
not.
skipped over.
But we're not the ones. Now here, I do know.
You're not seeking the attention,
Speaking
though,
of
right?
speaking
Isn't that
of
part of it?
marketing, and I've started studying this because I pay attention to things like that when I'm in. So your WalMarts, your Bruce's, your certain department stores are very, very heavy leaning 80s rock on their music when they're playing in the store, and I'm like, okay, I'm here. So it makes me wonder the psychology of.
You're the target market.
Yeah,
probably,
exactly.
If it's the stuff you like listening to. Yeah.
It just
makes me feel old.
I know.
So I was like, oh my gosh.
I
this used to be
love
my
Walmart
parents'
radio. Is that sad? Like, when I go in, if I am at Walmart, I'm like, this is pretty good. It's true.
Or the gas pump TV stations, like when they have that on there. So, all right. So here we go. This is going to be. I don't have my brain rot stuff. So
Oh, well.
we'll
Go
do.
ahead.
Well, let's just do. This is called. We call this off the spine. So your job is to just make a comment. You can use a word or a couple of words. Don't look. You can't
What is
cheat.
it called?
It's off the spine. That means you just respond off the
Got it.
spine
I'll try.
of what you think of when
Like
you
you've
think.
been doing today.
Okay. More of the same. Okay.
So I'm just going to say a word or a phrase, and then you just say what you think about when that comes, and don't think
Okay.
too much. All right, you ready? Buc-ee's.
Convenience store?
Okay. Boom Days.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Good. Okay. The Alabama Band.
Iconic.
Iconic. All right. VFW Fair.
Goldfish?
Goldfish.
Does it have to be an adjective, or can it just
Like
be...
the game. No, you can say whatever.
Yeah,
You can use a sentence.
So 2021, when we moved back, we went home with 7 goldfish.
Oh, no wonder.
None of them really made it very far.
When we first moved back, we lived up on Forest Avenue. I mean, we could walk to the fair.
Uh-huh.
At that time, we were homeschooling our kids, so we didn't have a time constraint. And so we decided we went on the $20 band night, and we shut the place down. Like I had at that time, that would have been a 5-year-old up to maybe a 12-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And we shut the fair, like they had to kick us out.
Mm-hmm.
It was 11:30 or whatever time it was, and we rode every ride. We said, kids, have at it. And we just rode every ride. And I remember going, wow, that was That was wonderful, and I've never had wonderful and miserable at the same time.
So
go
you've never
on.
been to Disney World then?
No, we did that. We did Disney World too, and that was more miserable than it was wonderful, because Mickey takes all your money if you go to Disney World.
Very true. And I should have said with the fair, what I should have said is that auxiliary booth that sells food before you get to the food trucks.
Oh, yes.
The best food.
It is really,
I
really
look forward
good.
to it every year.
It's very good. Yeah. Who does that? Is that a Rotary? No, I don't know who does that, but it's good.
It's through the VFW. Yeah,
VFW. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I want to say it's a ladies auxiliary, but I don't know if it's
I
only
think it is the
ladies.
ladies
That's why I didn't
auxiliary.
want to
Yeah, I
misspeak.
think it
Okay.
is, yeah.
Are you ready?
You don't have to be that good.
Okay.
All right. Favorite podcast
Ooh.
right now?
Oh, well, it used to be CMO Moves. That's the one that so CMO is a chief marketing officer. So it's like a work-related podcast.
Okay. You can't do that. This is supposed to be for leisure.
Social.
What do you do for leisure? What are you listening to?
One of my, can I say WZOB? No.
You absolutely can.
You didn't even know where it was.
You are marketing.
Yeah,
You knows exactly his
And
audience.
a politician.
Well, hopefully not too much
for
of a
you.
politician yet.
Good for you.
What is it? What's your favorite podcast?
What do you listen to?
I mean, it really. So I'd have to go on my phone. I used to listen.
Do you listen to a bunch? Do you have a
No,
bunch?
a lot of it's just like based on episodes. You know,
Okay.
what I want to hear, what's on my Discover page. Yeah, I used to be big into like Vox Media, but they've kind of got a slant now, one way or the other, and so.
Yeah. Okay. Lunch with Bryan and Steve.
Lunch with Bryan and Steve. I think you said ADHD earlier, so I would say fun.
That's it. All right. Fort Payne High.
Oh, Black and Gold.
Black and Gold. All right. Is that so? You strategic. So what's the marketing behind? Because I notice a lot of campaigns are strictly like red, white, and blue.
They are.
Emphasize the red or the blue or whatever. But
Yeah.
you went black and gold.
Yeah,
That's
and there are a few
strategic?
others who are doing Black and Gold also.
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew
That's strategic marketing.
100%. You know, before I even had a mock-up done, I knew I wanted it to be Black and Gold, and,
Okay.
that was on purpose. That is, you know, this race is about Fort Payne.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a very proud American. I think we should be united as a country, but this is local politics. It's
Yeah.
all about Fort Payne.
I do have a trivia question.
Okay, go ahead.
Think of it. Who said the best argument against democracy is a 5-minute conversation with the average voter?
Ooh.
He's not from here. Across the pond.
Good thing we're a constitutional republic.
Looks like an English bulldog.
Oh, man.
World War II.
So we're talking Winston Churchill?
And yes.
Okay, all right. Well,
There you go.
it wasn't until you said World War II, I was like, is it somebody recently? I don't even.
It probably is, but he
Okay.
said it. He got credit for saying it first.
That makes sense.
So you do all of your social media stuff
I
and
do.
all your. Do you understand or do you know the analytics? Do you study the back end stuff, or is that part of your job to know the back end?
It is, but I mean, with the local campaign and the race, like there's a ton of analytics you've got at your fingertips on what content performs the best, what your engagement is. But I know my audience period is only 15,000 people. Like
Yeah.
I know what my reach needs
Really
to
less
be.
than that if you count.
Yeah.
Just kids and take them
So
out.
well, yeah, right. Only the voters. So you know, I am definitely paying attention to what works and what doesn't. But at the same time, the important thing is just getting your message out there. Period.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
the voters.
Yeah. Okay. So I noticed that you had posted. What was I going to talk about? Oh, you had made a post about Lee Thomas Miller.
I
think
did,
it was
yeah.
last night. So talk about that because.
Well, okay, so he just had a loss in the family, but Lee Thomas Miller is a songwriter. I would have never known who he was, but last year at June Jam was the first time I ever went to the songwriter. I don't know if it's called Songwriter Showcase.
Yeah,
Songwriter
we actually have
Series.
Greg.
Greg, he's going to talk
All
about it in
right.
a minute. Greg
It
Fowler.
was incredible. I mean, I love the June Jam, but I made sure when I still thought the June Jam was going to happen this year, I knew my priority was I want to go see the Songwriter Series. It
Yeah.
was the highlight of the entire week last year. We had Jamie Johnson there, and I don't know all the songwriters' names, but the woman who wrote Angels Among Us.
Okay.
And so it's not just they sing the song with Alabama, it's they tell you the story about
I know.
how
Those-
they wrote it, what it was all about.
Yeah.
And so Lee Thomas Miller, he wrote The Impossible, and he also wrote You're Gonna Miss This, which
Okay.
are you
Yeah.
know all really inspired by family and his children. And he just had a loss in the family yesterday. And the only reason I know that is because I went home and I followed him on Instagram as soon as the Songwriter Series ended.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's there this year, but
No.
I'm excited. I'm not going Friday.
You're going
But I'll be
Saturday?
Saturday.
Okay.
I'm leaving VBS early to go to the singer-songwriter. showcase. So I'm excited.
We're giving away tickets here.
Oh,
for Saturday.
there we go.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good show. I'm excited.
Vacation Bible School.
And I'm sure Greg will tell us who's on Saturday.
I'm not sure.
He's here to plug it.
Steve's got a pull. He's got some pull on the vacation.
I mean,
Bible
it
School.
really is incredible. You can just sit there and listen
really
to these
is.
incredible stories and then hear their version when they sing it. It's a little different than maybe what you heard on the radio.
Yeah, that anytime, and I've learned both with a songwriter at home with me. You're a songwriter, Holly. It's remarkable at the different things that connect and click, and because it's not just it's all of it. It's a good hook. It's a good rhythm. It's good lyrics.
Yeah, we've worked together.
Yeah,
and
we've
he's
collaborated.
ripped apart some of my
Oh.
stuff. Yeah, ripped it apart. Said, no, Holly, you can't say dead dog.
I pay attention. I don't know.
That's reflective in the paycheck.
I don't know the back end. So my whole history, and this is how this show began, and really how I got into radio and what we're doing, is I don't conceptualize the back end stuff. I don't study the back end, like what makes it that way. I just, on the face value of things, understand. So when I look at Beau Genelin and I watch, I go, that's good. Yes, that's correct. Like I can analyze it and go, there's something wrong with this. I may not can tell you how to fix it.
Sure.
But I can tell you that it works and I like it, and that's how the show operates. We're just freewheeling it, and if something happens during the week, I'll make a note and go, we're not going to do that again. And we started with 2 guests, and now we go down to 1 guest, and how all that works, and I just tinker. So that's one of the things that fascinates me about the songwriters is how did that come to be? Because
so cool.
And I ended up meeting, I don't know if I've shared this, I'm not sure if I've shared this on the air, but I ended up meeting a guy in Auburn who played the keyboard for Mercy Me. He left the band and retired and went to Auburn, and I ended up meeting him. And so I said, tell me about I Can Only Imagine, the most iconic song probably just about in history. And he said, really, it was a medium build song with a lot of rhythm to it, but we just couldn't get it to connect. And I was tinkering one day on the piano, and he came up with that line, that the beginning of the song, those 4 or 5 notes. And when he played it, Bart, the lead singer, said, that's it. And so those kinds of things are fascinating. And what connects with the heart, what connects with the soul, what connects with the spirit, what all of those things. Because I believe, in my opinion, it's all God. It's all Him and how He created us and how He made us.
And for Him.
And for Him. It's for His purposes, for His glory. But at the end of the day, we're just vessels. So anyway, I think we are out of time. Beau. Fantastic interview.
Thank you. Thank you just for giving me the opportunity. I do know, I know a lot of people here, but there are a lot of people who don't even know how to say my last name. So just the fact, just the fact that we got some awareness, I really appreciate it.
Or know your mom's name,
Binky.
But thanks for being on the show. Thanks for answering some tough questions.
Absolutely.
And good luck.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we'll see you again soon. But thanks for being on the show.
I really sincerely appreciate it, and thank you.
All right, Beau Genelin, everybody, thanks for being on here. Thanks for listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. We're going to have Greg Fowler in on the next segment, and we'll be right back right after this.
My Supply is my hometown hardware store. At My Supply, I never have to wander aimlessly around the store looking for what I need. I know that when I walk through the door, I'm going to be greeted by a person and helped right away. So whether you're looking for plumbing, electrical, hand or power tools, welding supplies, standard or metric fasteners, or anything else to help with your home projects and repairs, shop My Supply on Godfrey Avenue in Northeast Fort Payne. Open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. My Supply, your hometown hardware store.
Do you need to declutter? Wish you could free up some valuable space at work or home? Helium Mini Storage has climate control units available, and all their units are gated for maximum protection. You can also store your stuff at home with their 4 Seasons or Max Steel storage buildings for sale. Just come by Helium Mini Storage on Galt Avenue in North Fort Payne. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. And while you're there, be sure to check out play sets for the kids. Store your stuff with Helium Mini Storage.
This is Mark Malone, the favorite statistician of Bryan, Steve, Chris, and Holly, and you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve.
Rawson Pools is eliminating every reason why you can't have your very own. No cash on hand? There's financing available at Rawson Pools. Ground too rocky? Rawson Pools is installing hybrid above-ground pools with 14-gauge steel panels, making it more durable and cost-effective than your average above-grounder. Check out their Facebook page to see what 30 years of pool installation experience can give you. Call 256-638-5904 to take the plunge. And always visit Rawson Pool and Supply Store in Rainsville for all your pool supply and accessory needs. Rawson Pools, the pool professionals.
And we are back. Lunch with Bryan and Steve, episode 17. Just got through talking with Beau Genelin, candidate for city council. That was a great interview. We were just talking about it off air.
I like people to come in and carry us.
Now, I know it's you can tell when you've got a good guest who's willing to talk and kind of, open up and share some ideas. So I was very impressed with Beau. Good job on that interview. We're waiting on Greg's out there talking. He'll get in here in a minute. But our segment.
That's hard to believe.
Greg's talking. Yeah, I know it. As many times as we've had him on the show, we're going to have to start calling this Lunch with Bryan and Steve and Greg at some point.
Bring his own chair.
But we do have another segment sponsor. We want to thank First Fidelity Bank, those guys down there, and the sponsorship of the show. Thank you. The full bank, everything that you need, banking needs there. First Fidelity Bank. Excited to have those guys on board with Lunch with Bryan and Steve. So please, as you see them on the screen behind me, they're sponsoring this segment of Lunch with Bryan and Steve. Just let that be the reminder that as you are getting frustrated with the big banks, the big corporate banks, and you want to look at a local small town bank, First Fidelity is the bank to look at. So I think they have a branch. I've noticed this. They've got a branch in Rainsville too, don't they?
They do.
On the way out of town, towards Scottsboro. Do they have another branch?
I think they do. I think they have one in Outer, I believe.
Is that right?
So, you love Steve Everhart's desk. Well, you'd like half of it.
Has he got a bunch of Bama stuff?
I like the whole of it.
Okay.
Half you like, and one you might disagree with. It's a great desk.
Come on in, Greg. Yeah, we got one more time.
Where's that food? I've heard so much about.
Well,
you're looking at it.
That's a good question.
Well, obviously it ain't here.
Did Shirley bring a picnic basket?
She told me she doesn't want to be talking about it all this time. And it's for you to stay out of it. And for me not to encourage
you got to get into the mic.
Yeah, you got to pull up a little bit.
Turn your phone on silent.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're not getting any text or any phone calls right now.
And it's
is everything okay? You having a disaster right now?
No, I'm not. But it came up a few minutes ago, and Lee Thomas Miller, he and his wife Jana, they lost their son.
So we were just talking about that with Beau.
And he played here last year, and he was invited to come back and play again this year. And he said, "Greg, I'd love to, man, but I can't. And the reason I can't is because it's the 50th anniversary of the championship of the Cincinnati Reds.
Okay.
Baseball World Series championship. And he's really good friends with a number of the players.
Huh.
And so they've invited him to, but obviously he won't be, I don't think he'll be attending now. But, but he's such a great guy.
Yeah, that's tough.
Not only a tremendous talent and a wonderful friend, but just a honest to goodness. He and Jana, his wife, I mean, it was such a pleasure having them here last year. Yeah. And we've worked with Lee on other events in the past too. And anyway.
Yeah, but I was kind of digging around on Beau because he was going to be on the show and saw that post where he posted about the death of his son and man, it's just a difficult.
I texted Lee last night and he sent back a real honest response. But anyway.
Well,
here we are, boys and girls.
How's it coming? Are we ready?
Yeah.
Are we ready to rock?
And if we're not, who's going to know? We really? Oh, man, I thought they were ready. We were ready. You didn't. No, we are. In fact, Songwriters is both nights is sold out. Now, I will tell you, we've had some people relinquish their tickets, if you will. So you can go by the fan club, and there may be just a few tickets left for Friday and Saturday nights.
Okay, so just go to the office at the fan club
Just
if you're
go and
interested.
say, hey man, are there any tickets left? And if there are, I'm sure we'll be happy to sell them.
Okay.
But for the most part, yeah, both shows are sold out. It's fantastic. We've got 2 nights of just amazing songwriters. I know we talked about this last time. It's been in the paper, but all these guys are all stars. I mean, they're the top of the game, and we're just honored to have them. And they're just coming to support Alabama and what we do here in Fort Payne. And the fans are in for a real treat. A lot of our fans and ticket buyers have bought tickets for both nights.
Yeah,
and I would recommend that because our writers are Neil Thrasher, Dave Gibson, Dave Turnbull. Then we've got Lenny LeBlanc, Philip White, and Bryce Long, and there'll be 3-1 tomorrow night, right? Tomorrow's Friday, and then 3.
Is it? Yeah,
3 Saturday. Right. Different writers each night.
Yeah.
But man, it's my favorite event that we ever do. I mean, I love it.
I don't think you can overstate how good those things are. I've been to something similar to that in a different context, and to sit and listen to a song that you've heard on the radio maybe hundreds of times.
Oh, yeah.
And then hear the backstory on how it came to be, and this little change right here made this difference here, and it's just a lot of fun to sit and listen to that.
Yeah, and two, these guys all know each other.
Yeah.
I mean, they all travel in the same circles, and they write together. Their own songwriter events like we're having together, and they're friends, you know?
Yeah.
And I was texting, that's what all the texting was about. I was texting the guys who are coming, just, the sadness of what's going on with Lee Thomas Miller and his wife, and the loss of their son, and they were just bing, 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 every one of them within seconds just responded like, oh my God, that's terrible. So
it's unbelievable.
It's a big family.
Sure.
Songwriters, I don't know how it is everywhere else, but in Nashville, that's a big family. But it's a big family, but a small group.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
And so anyway, but yeah, they're all coming, and we're going to have a big time, and I couldn't be happier. The fans have supported it, obviously. I mean, we're sold out. The other events, Randy's Fandemonium at the Farm is that's been sold out.
Jeff's got something going on.
Lisa has.
I'm sorry.
Lisa has it. Well, it's for the Jeff Cook Foundation.
Jeff Cook Foundation.
At the castle.
They have an event on a brunch. I guess it is on Saturday. Allison Owen. There's a golf tournament going on. Out at Terrapin Hills also on Friday. And you can call out there and get information on that.
Yeah.
But it's not part of the. It's a part of our weekend of activities, but it's a separate entity into itself. The Songwriter Showcase, the money for that event, this event, will go directly to the June Jam Foundation.
Yeah.
Lisa's event, it will go to the Jeff Cook Foundation. Tonight, we're excited. I just spoke with Amber McPherson just a bit ago at the Children's Advocacy Center here, and I think they've already sold like over 200 plus tickets for that.
How big is that arena? How big is that?
338.
So there's still seating available
There's
for tonight.
still seating available, and she said the phone's been going crazy, ringing off the hook. There'll be 11 contestants from all over the
Let's talk
county.
about that. So that's Teddy Gentry singing with the Stars.
Yep.
That's tonight at the Fort Payne City Auditorium, which there is seating available, and it's young talent. My daughter sang in it last year.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun for her.
Yeah.
She had a blast. She can't do it because she's on a retreat this weekend.
Yeah.
But was going to do it this year, and actually my son wanted to do it too. But it's local talent. All the funds go to the Children's Advocacy Center.
That's right.
Which is our local, not ministry, it's a nonprofit that helps with kids in our community.
Yes.
And some hardships that are going on in people's lives. And so
it's amazing. And Teddy's been involved. Alabama certainly umbrellaed it. Teddy, that's his personal, that's his charge, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his thing. And he's been involved with the CAC for, 15 years. I don't know, forever, it seems like.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's tonight, and doors are at 4. The girls and boys are down there right now rehearsing at City Hall Auditorium.
Yep.
Admission, I think, is $20 at the door. That's going to be great. It starts at 6:00.
Okay.
And it'll be a lot of fun. And again, it's something that's a part of what we do during this time of year.
How's your energy level?
It's great.
You feeling good?
I was fried when I talked to you guys Saturday.
Do you miss the softball game?
Yeah.
Bring back the softball game.
Yeah, well, I bring it back. I don't think I've lost a few steps in 35 years.
Oh, not many.
No, I've been out last week when I talked to you guys down at Third Saturday. Man, I've been out. I got hot. I didn't drink water, of course.
There you go.
And man, by the time I saw you, it was like
you were crashing.
I was crashing, but I'm feeling good now, buddy. We got life back on the right course.
Good.
Oh, but I want to tell you this too. Tomorrow, Friday, right? Yeah. Teddy Gentry's having his coin show.
Okay.
And it's at the Alabama Fan Club. But they were setting that up this morning, and I say it's not just a coin show. Hey, look, that's a nickel. I mean, he's got an amazing amount of coins and there's a lot of stuff down there.
Yeah.
And there'll be other vendors coming in with their things as well. They'll tell you about certain coins and what this means and where did this come from. And for those who are interested in that, I would encourage going by for that. And that's happening tomorrow at the Fan Club from 12 until 3, and it's sponsored by Mr. Teddy Gentry's Buffalo Nickel Coin Shop.
So that's his place.
That's his place.
His baby.
It's at the Fan Club, but it's his place
Yeah.
at the Fan Club.
Yeah. Around
the corner there, near the side.
Yeah.
And
I've always wondered who had that connection.
That's the connection. That's
Okay.
Mr. Teddy Wayne Gentry. And but anyway, and it's relatively inexpensive. If you're a fan club member, it's free. Just go in and talk and look and whatever. They're going to be giving away some coins and stuff as well. And knowing Teddy, it won't be like a penny you find in your pocket. It's going to be
He's got some cool
it's going to be
stuff.
something worth something.
Yeah.
And they're also there's going to be a lot of stuff going on down there. And if you're a fan club member, it's free, and it's $1 if you're not. But all the proceeds go to the Children's Advocacy Center. So,
okay. Yeah.
And I think that's it. I think that covers it.
You want to look at your sheet and make sure?
No, I've got it pretty well memorized. I know that with the songwriters event being at City Hall Auditorium tomorrow night, I've been locked into that now for a while.
That's a lot of logistics.
But it's
coordinating.
going to be so good.
Yeah.
So good. And Randy and Teddy will be there hosting it along with the riders, and we got musicians coming in. I mean, it's.
Do you have a full band? Is there a full setup there, or they just kind of pick their own instrument and bring it? Do they do a full production of the song, or they just kind of play it acoustically? And
you mean the riders?
Yeah, the riders when they're actually performing.
They sit there with their guitars and they just plug in and play.
Yeah.
And but we're bringing in some side musicians this year. That was actually Randy's idea, and I think it's incredible. That can provide a little backup. For these guys if they need it. They don't have to have it, because a songwriter's event is just what it says. It's a songwriter, a guitar, maybe a keyboard, and that's how the song is written. I promise you, anything that's done to accent what they're doing, it ain't going to hurt it.
Yeah.
But it will also not. It will enhance it, perhaps.
Sure.
But it will be so tastefully done. Whatever they do.
Listen,
they'll
when you
come
watch
and go with it.
the guys that do this at that level,
it's great.
It's the ability. They don't have to. You don't have to have music for them. You don't have to have the key. You just say, "I'm in this," and here we go. And they they just accent the song so well. It's so professional, and so excited about that.
Thank
so
you.
well,
It's true.
Thank you for all that you do, Greg.
Well, it's a pleasure, man. I mean, it's my job, but I enjoy doing this. This is really all I've done. I was in radio, and that tied into all the Alabama stuff.
Yeah.
And but that's what I've done since 1972.
Wow.
So that covers a lot of.
So you've caught on pretty well.
Yeah, I think you can
Not
make a living.
really.
I think you can make a living at this, Greg.
You know, every day is different. Like, oops. Even this week, it's the same deal.
Well, thank you guys. I hope you guys will all go and enjoy these things. We got to take a commercial break. We've got one more segment left with Lunch with Bryan and Steve, and we will be right back right after this.
My Supply is my hometown hardware store. At My Supply, I never have to wander aimlessly around the store looking for what I need. I know that when I walk through the door, I'm going to be greeted by a person and helped right away. So whether you're looking for plumbing, electrical, hand or power tools, welding supplies, standard or metric fasteners, or anything else to help with your home projects and repairs, shop My Supply on Godfrey Avenue in Northeast Fort Payne. Open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. My Supply, your hometown hardware store.
Do you need to declutter? Wish you could free up some valuable space at work or home? Helium Mini Storage has climate control units available, and all their units are gated for maximum protection. You can also store your stuff at home with their Four Seasons or Max Steel storage buildings for sale. Just come by Helium Mini Storage on Galt Avenue in North Fort Payne. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. And while you're there, be sure to check out play sets for the kids. Store your stuff with Helium Mini Storage.
This is Mark Malone, the favorite statistician of Bryan, Steve, Chris, and Holly, and you're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve.
Rawson Pools is eliminating every reason why you can't have your very own. No cash on hand? There's financing available at Rawson Pools. Ground too rocky? Rawson Pools is installing hybrid above-ground pools with 14-gauge steel panels, making it more durable and cost-effective than your average above-grounder. Check out their Facebook page to see what 30 years of pool installation experience can give you. Call 256-638-5904 to take the plunge. And always visit Rawson Pool and Supply Store in Rainsville for all your pool supply and accessory needs. Rawson Pools, the pool professionals.
All right, we are back. Lunch with Bryan and Steve. Episode 17 is on the way out, and we have got one more segment. I got in studio my son Eli. Hey, Eli.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
Good. He is the sole. He's going to be an only child for the next 2 days. All four siblings are of youth group age, and so they're on a youth group retreat with Family Worship Center over in Atlanta, I think. They take 2 big buses every year, and so I got 4 of them on that trip, and I got one at the house. So what are we going to do other than play with Ben Dura when it's time? You do not know? How were your grades this year?
All A's.
All A's. All right. About to go to 5th grade. We don't know who your teacher is yet, do we? No. We know your principal won't be. Well, never mind. Okay, never mind.
She's
moving to Wills Valley.
5th grade. That was a great year. That was Miss Hand. Did you have Miss Hand?
I had
Miss Sally Hand.
5th grade. I think
where everything was weird and wonderful.
Coach Hand's wife.
I don't know.
No.
She's not Hand anymore.
It was Stan Hand.
Stan Hand.
You remember Stan? It was a linebacker.
Yeah.
It's his mom.
Yeah.
And John was my age, so wow, that's way back.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
She's still awesome.
I think I had her. I had Miss Hossey for some.
Anybody who's at anybody had Miss Hand.
Oh,
sorry.
is that
If you
right?
didn't have Miss Hand, you missed it.
So, what else you got going on? What are you doing this summer?
I'm gonna be playing flag football in the fall.
That's right.
Is that right?
And we're going to a camp Saturday.
Yeah.
What's the camp?
Evan McPherson football camp.
That's right.
The Evan McPherson football
My
camp.
grandson's going to be there.
Yep, Evan McPherson football camp this Friday.
Stadium?
I think so. Is it at the football stadium?
I think it is.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he's coming.
Is this the inaugural one or is this the second year? I can't remember. I think they may have done this before.
Well, it'd probably have to be at some stadium.
Yeah, it would have to be somewhere where there's field and I'm sure upright.
I'm pretty sure he's doing it at our high school field.
Yeah. So the Evan McPherson football camp, which if we'd had Amber on, we could have asked her if she was going to make it here, but she's doing that Children's Advocacy Center thing.
You didn't have a
I don't have a graphic for that. I forgot. That's my bad. But hey, let's real quick. Yep. Let's go through our graphics while we're sitting here. We do want to thank our break sponsors. So we have our segment sponsors.
Okay.
Am I breaking something back here?
No.
Okay. We have our segment sponsors, which is DeKalb Sportsman and Palm, Thrive Outdoor, and First Fidelity Bank. But we also have break sponsors. So when we're on commercial break, you are seeing and hearing these sponsorships, and we want to thank these folks: Wilson Storage, Fort Payne Improvement Authority, My Supply. Thank you, Alan. DeKalb Appliance and Warehouse, Rawson Pools, Safe Solutions,
Plus,
Hillier Properties, and Tracy's Florist and Gifts.
Yep.
Is that it? I think that's it. So thank you guys for sponsoring the show through commercial breaks. So when you're listening or watching us, those guys are rolling through, and Miss Holly is even scrolling through the graphics when that happens. So thank you guys for sponsoring Lunch with Bryan and Steve. Well, what else we want to talk about, Eli?
Well, we want to talk about that?
Don't really know.
Oh, yes, sorry. That's my ADHD kicked in. It left me
You
right.
told me to throw something at you, so.
Here it is. So for those that don't know, a week from today, which will be our episode with Walter Watson, he's going to be in studio to talk about the city
election, I would imagine.
City. You think he'll want to talk about anything else?
I'm sure he will.
Please, we got to talk about something else.
He's
So
also a pastor.
he is a pastor in town. So July the 3rd, Fort Payne is going to have its celebration down at the Fort Payne Sports Complex. DJ Snake. You ever listen to DJ Snake?
I'm not.
I bet you have at some point. He's been a DJ around here for a while.
I'm sure I have, and just didn't know the name.
And another one of our guests, Paul Crawford and his band.
Much more familiar with
the locals, Rob Bouchard, Curtis Strange, and Paul Crawford. They are going to be playing at the celebration, the Fort Payne Independence Day celebration, which is on July the 3rd. Yes.
Yes, so bring a chair.
Bring a chair.
Don't bring a cooler.
Steve.
No coolers
please.
allowed.
I sneak into the
There will be concessions. There will be so food will be concession stand open.
Oh, I am torn on celebrations like this. They're so much fun, and it's a great community event.
And we gotta get up real early that next day.
That's true. It's so hot, and we'll be doing a show here. The day of,
that day,
then go over to that, and then get up early the next morning.
Well, and WZOB will also we're working in concert with Pyro Shows of Alabama.
Okay.
So at 8:45 when the fireworks start, if you're not sitting, of course you could take your little handheld radio if you've got one, or jam box or whatever. But if you're in a car and you're at the Fort Payne High School to watch or your little ridge, you can see the fireworks from all those places. Turn us on.
Okay.
We will have music that synchronize. It's synchronized with, so it'll have the countdown, and then it's really cool. We've been doing this for a few years.
Will they be launching from the same place they usually do?
Yeah, that field.
Which is the field between the middle school and the high school, is that right?
Yeah, right across the street from Little Ridge. So you're not allowed out there.
Okay.
I'm allowed out there, but you're not.
Oh, you are. Well, I have a
but we
special
have to wear a hard hat.
Okay. So anyway, that's next Thursday, a week from today. And then I also had one that showed up. Is Rainsville has theirs.
Yep.
Which is interesting. Look at this. Their Freedom Fest is this Saturday, June the 28th, 1 to 9, featuring Sawyer Brown.
Wow.
I didn't even know they were a thing still. So that band.
What did Sawyer Brown? What was one of his big hits?
Is that the name of the guy or the band?
I thought it was the guy.
I thought it was the band.
I thought it was the guy. Okay, well, I'm probably wrong.
It's very well known, but listen, I mentioned last week I didn't grow up here, so I didn't listen to country music. I still don't listen to it. My kids listen to it, and then I'm like, okay.
I'm well-rounded. I listen to everything.
Well, so Sawyer Brown will be here for
Way back in the
Rainsville's Freedom Fest, which is this Saturday, 1 to 8 or 1 to 9, at the Rodeo Lane, Rainsville. I guess, is that where their city park is, maybe? So anyway,
I think
information.
So.
Community information.
There
That's the
you
community
go.
calendar. Do we have birthdays or anniversaries? And
you have to tune in early.
Swap
you have
shop.
to tune in for Tim Dobson. He's ahead of all of that.
He's got the anniversaries and.
What time is that?
He takes birthdays and anniversaries until 8:20 every morning, and we draw for winners at 8:20 every morning, and then we have gospel time from 8:30 to 9 o'clock, which is gospel music.
And swap shop.
No, and then we have thoughts for today. Okay, and then we have thoughts for today. Where we have a little devotional, and then we have swap shop 9:15. That's right. So that's our mornings usually here at WZOB. So join us.
Oh, that's great. Well, we are so excited to continue to do episodes and have Eli in studio. So anything else you want to talk about? What's your favorite YouTube channel? Hit it with us. Come on.
Probably like Ryan Trahan with his...
Grind Train.
Ryan Trahan.
Ryan Trahan, that's right. Have you watched Ryan Trahan, Holly? Did your kids get you into that?
Ryan who?
50 states and
my children are not really children anymore.
That's true, but your grandchildren are close to Ryan Trahan age. Dude
Are
Perfect?
they?
You heard of Dude Perfect, right?
Oh, well, yeah, of course. Dude Perfect, that was...
You watch
that's
Dude Perfect
Thomas.
still?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. NBA draft was last night. Did you see that? Cooper Flagg went number 1.
Yeah, about the first 5.
I'm surprised.
They got the guy from France. I turned it off.
I'm surprised Trey Johnson
Not because he's
wasn't
from France.
like before.
I'll
Do what?
I said I'm surprised Trey Johnson wasn't like before.
Yeah, Trey Johnson went in like 6th pick. So
I know he's
that
better
great
than that.
center for Auburn, Broom.
yeah,
Did he not go?
Nah, did he go? I don't think so.
What is-
Janai Broom.
Oh no.
What is it, the knock on him? Because he always seemed pretty unstoppable.
Yeah, I think it's his jump. And his game, from what I've understood, his game doesn't translate to the NBA game as well as some other players do. It's kind of a one-on-one sport where it's really about matchups. And so if you can't match up man for man, then you're going to struggle. And he might not match up as well. So I don't know.
I didn't realize until last night that Caitlin Clark was back in the WNBA.
You didn't know that? She is
I
almost
thought she quit that.
No.
And then, I think she did, didn't she?
I don't think she quit.
I thought she, well, because they were like,
they
reaming her.
They were on her pretty hard.
They were on her hard. I thought she like moved to Europe. No.
No,
Am I living in
she
an
has
alternate
almost,
universe?
I haven't looked at the numbers, but I think she single-handedly resurged
she
the
did.
WNBA.
She is fun to
I saw this
watch.
video and it was like, this guy was like asking a question to like the actual team of what's it called, the Denver Nuggets, and apparently like the coach was thinking about like trading Jokic to Lakers.
Oh, really?
So they would probably
wow.
have like the best team.
Ooh,
Luka,
wow.
Of course, Nikola Jokic and LeBron James.
LeBron James, yeah.
But who does Caitlin Clark play for?
Fever. Indiana
Yeah,
Fever? Is that what it is?
Fever. Yeah, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
didn't
Steve,
know.
hit your stuff. What we got?
All right.
What's the rain gauge? We have not done the rain gauge.
You
and if
better
we
hurry
miss-
because we got 4 minutes. We got to
Okay.
go to a commercial break.
Are we going to do a commercial before the top? We
Yeah,
normally
yeah.
do.
We do a commercial break and then we bring
We
it back
close
and
it.
close it out. So hurry
Okay,
up.
rain
Rain
gauge.
gauge, hang on.
For June, 3.44 inches. For June. Now that's about to get hot. Well, it's already hot.
It's about to.
Hot and dry. In our never-ending effort to inform and entertain, now we're going to talk about the heat index.
Ooh.
It's a complicated formula, but
Okay.
you take the temperature and you can either use relative humidity or dew point. And to put it simply, humidity is the amount of moisture in the air, and the dew point is the temperature at which the moisture turns to liquid.
Okay.
All right.
Got that.
So you can, but I got a chart. I got a chart.
You're a scholar,
Which
Steve.
makes it much easier.
Okay.
But, of course, there's an app for it.
Absolutely.
And in Fort Payne right now, it's 87 degrees with the humidity 61%. So that makes the feel-like temperature 92 degrees.
Good night.
Ooh.
It's so miserable. That's what I was going to say about the July 4th celebrations.
Yeah.
I think they're wonderful.
Yeah.
It's just so flipping hot.
Yeah.
Well,
I went to the pool and even the pool felt hot.
Yeah, I know it. It's really hot.
But I have heard, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
I'd be afraid to.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to correct you, Holly.
That this area in Alabama is the most moderate. Like
That would
it's
be
not
correct.
extreme.
I
That's
believe that.
correct.
In Alabama.
The coolest place in the state of Alabama on average is Mount Cheahaw. But Mentone area
Yeah.
is the area itself is like you say, it's the most moderate. Like from Fort Payne to the top of Lookout Mountain, there's usually 6 degrees cooler on Lookout Mountain.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
On
Okay,
average.
let's take our last commercial
Okay.
break. We'll come back and wrap the show up. Thank you guys for listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. We'll be right back.
So long. Cheers. Adios. Bye, Felicia. Don't let the door hit you.
More and more people are saying goodbye to pests with Safe Solutions Plus LLC. And it's no wonder with their top-notch customer service, quality products, and lower prices. And now with their new website, it's never been easier to manage your pest control service with Safe Solutions Plus. Just visit sspestandtermite.com to view your billing details, make payments online, and review past services. Family owned and operated, Safe Solutions Plus is located at 934 Main Street West in Rainsville. Call 256-638-7378. Safe Solutions Plus, protecting homes and businesses, solution at a time.
Okay, then. Bye.
This is Chris Sturra, the voice of the Fort Payne Wildcats. You're listening to Lunch with Bryan and Steve. I'd love to have real jobs to get to.
All right, we're back. Lunch with Bryan and Steve, episode 17. Steve, I thought this was a fantastic episode.
I enjoyed it.
That was a lot of fun.
I was a little worried when the clock quit working, but I guess it's not really just
the show that makes time stand still.
It's not just 11:20.
No, it is not. We're not. We're not just halfway into the. We're done with the episode. So we want to thank you guys for joining us. And we call this, we kind of have tongue-in-cheek fun with this Lunch with Bryan and Steve, the fact that we don't have any lunch when we come on here. But lunch is something that when you get done with it, you're going to be hungry again. But the only way to have to be filled and not be hungry again is to have the bread of life, and that's Jesus Christ.
Yes,
we want you guys to know him and the power of his resurrection. We're thankful for him and allowing us to do this. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Steve. Good job today.
Martha's got meatloaf today.
Martha's got meatloaf. All right.
That's what I've been told. Anyway.
So it'll be Lunch with Martha and Steve here in just a minute.
Y'all are welcome.
We'll see you guys next week. Walter Watson in studio, and we're glad that you guys joined us, and we'll see you next week.